Hey guys, brand new podcast, and I am on the road this week. Huntsville, Asheville, Richmond, and Roanoke. Roanoke and Richmond, flip it around. We've added shows in Roanoke and in Huntsville. I think all the shows are sold out. I'm not certain, but always go to Bert.com because we open up the venues that we're doing. We always have 100 seats day of show that we open up last minute. That's every show I do. We will have 100 seats that we open up day of. We hold on to them for radio comps and for comps for the industry, and then we release them day of. So always go to Bert.com, day of the show, no matter if it says it's sold out. We release them usually early morning, midday. Yeah, and I'm on tour like fucking crazy. Birdie Boy Relapse Tour. I'll be on tour until November, pretty aggressively until November. We have some big announcements coming up. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, I am at the Greek. So we still have availability for that show. We're shooting a big time promo next week, and we're releasing it. Once that promo comes out, those tickets should clean up. So get your tickets right now before that promo comes out.
We got open tabs too.
And we're back with open tabs. We're doing more episodes of open tabs. They do so well. People seem to love them so much that we thought we'd keep putting them out. So enjoy. I hope you're enjoying open tabs. If you have a hilarious video that you think I would like, send it to halston@bertbertbert.com. Okay?
HALSTON.
halston@bertbertbert.com, and we will watch it on open tabs, and we will give you credit. Okay? Okay? And by the way, if they're good, Halston will go through the good ones, and you'll get credit and a little shout out. So like if there's something you go, hey, this video is from Mary. She says her husband's the machine and wants me to give it, whatever you want, you let me know. I'll give you a shout out when we watch your video, especially if it makes me laugh. Then fucking you'll be a part of that clipped out thing when you clip out the whatever. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Today's podcast is with Anjelah Johnson. If you don't know who Anjelah Johnson is, then I feel lucky for you because you're about to see one of the best clips that you've never seen. Anjelah Johnson came on the scene with a fucking explosion. She was, I think she did a stand-up. She talks about it on the podcast. She did a stand-up comedy class. She had this one bit that she thought was really funny. She did this. These guys said, hey, we're doing, for $25, you can do it. We're going to do a video shoot. And they put them on phones, and she just did it. And then a year later, it changed her life. It was it is probably, there's a handful of bits I think of that I saw for the first time that I said, God damn it, that's fucking good. Tater salad. Jay Larson's prank phone call number 1. That's one of my favorite bits ever. Without a doubt, it's one of my favorite bits ever. I just had one on the top of my head that I'm like blanking on. Anyway, those are 2 right there where I go, God damn it, those are like placeholder bits that could fucking send you into the stratosphere. And she had this nail salon bit that she did that is, I mean, when it came out, it was a game changer. It sent her into headlining, and her stories about getting from an internet sensation, probably the first comic I knew to go viral, probably. It got her to headlining, a theater tour, and now she has a book called Who Do I Think I Am? Stories of Chola Wishes and Caviar Dreams. We talk about her childhood, how she wanted to be something different than she was. She wanted to be a chola. She wanted to be a gangbanger's girlfriend. I don't know if that sounds right?
Yeah, she was dating a guy with a kid when she was 14.
Dating a guy with a kid and a felony, I think. She talks about 14, that.
Yeah.
She was snorting speed in 6th grade. I mean, it's just so not the person I know. Yeah. We talk a lot about religion. So if that's something that drives you fucking nuts, I can't help you. Look, I have never been shy about telling you the things I believe in, my struggles with everything. I'm very open and honest. And we talk about a little bit about my faith because my daughters and my wife do not believe in God. They do not. And I still do. I still do. That sounds horrible. God's going to be like, still do. The fuck? I talk about that. I talk about praying. I talk about my happiness journal. It's a pretty fucking deep conversation. It's an awesome conversation. And we also talk about Anjelah a little bit, not much. I don't want to set your hopes up too high. You know this podcast.
That's not completely true, though.
It's actually a great interview.
Yeah,
it is a great, great, great conversation with a fantastic person, an amazing comic, and a real honest individual. I mean, we talk about the internet. We talk about judging ourselves by other people. It's a great fucking podcast. It's a great fucking podcast. I think you're going to love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to get her book, Who Do I Think I Am? Stories of Cholo Wishes and Caviar Dreams. That is out March 15th. I think you can pre-order it right now on Amazon. Go to Amazon, type in ANJELAHJOHNSON, or Who Do I Think I Am?
You see Miss Pat's special on Netflix?
Yes.
So fucking good.
Miss Pat special's fucking amazing.
Yep. Ali
Miss
Wong's.
Pat special. Ali Wong special's amazing. Man, women are fucking killing it. Thank God we got rid of sexism. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my friend, stand-up comedian, author, Anjelah Johnson. This table's not perfect. Do you like my subtle flex?
Yeah. I was like, wait, does he give us parting gifts?
No,
Nice.
it's fake money. Yeah, it looks real, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it's me and Tom did this thing a year ago, maybe. We were doing gambling. Here, pull the mic up to your face. We were doing this gambling thing, and we thought we get $10,000 and we gamble. And this is what $10,000 looks like. It's not that impressive.
No, it's not.
You see,
Turns out.
Yeah, you see rappers who get like suitcases. It doesn't look that good. And so,
Or like action movies when they rob the casino, it's like you think it's gonna be like 20 bags full, but no.
And so we ended up getting like $200,000 of fake money for like $200. And we were like, this is a blast. But I gotten $10,000 out in cash. And so I grabbed a quick $10,000 from the thing, and I tried to mess with my wife, and she immediately, come on, is that my coffee? She immediately was like, that's not real. So one morning, I wake up. Tom and I had also bought these tracksuits. I wake up, I'm feeling good. I throw on my tracksuit, I'm going to go get my medication. And I first go to the donut shop. I real quick, I grab $10,000.
Oh, no.
And I started splashing fake hundreds everywhere.
So
and
you just used fake money everywhere and they didn't catch it?
The lady at the pharmacy caught it immediately. She goes, this isn't real. And I went, what? She goes, it's not real. It doesn't feel real. It says play money right there. And I went, oh my God. And I was like, because I had $10,000 of real money that I just grabbed. And so, but I like having it around. I like having it around.
I like to play with myself every now and then and be like, you know what, let's see if I do that again. Did you go back to the places and be like, listen?
To the donut shop yeah. I did. I only went to the donut shop I make it sound worse than it was. Okay. I went to the donut shop and it's attached to my pharmacy. So they're like in the same
Oh, okay.
Here's the question. Like, what was your family like growing up? Like, did you guys grow up with money? Did you guys grow up?
No. No, not at all. My parents got divorced when I was 8. And so after that,
only child? No, you have a sister.
There's 4 of us that grew up together, and then later on we found out we had a half older brother from my dad and somebody in high school.
Oh yeah.
But so growing up it was just 4 of us, and so my mom would raise the 4 of us at home by herself on a hairstylist budget, so that wasn't like a lot of money. And I'm sure her siblings helped her out a lot with, so we could do cheerleading and we can do all the things, all the activities. That of course she couldn't afford by doing like $26 haircuts and stuff like that. And then my dad, he worked for a linen service where he would just deliver linens to different companies and no money at all. When we would go with him on his weekends, we would stay at like the Motel 6 or like the Oasis Motel, which was, a staple in East San Jose. And so that's where we would stay with my dad on his weekend.
San Jose? I think from San Antonio for some reason.
No. A lot of people think I'm from Texas for some reason.
I don't know. You have a little bit of a twang.
I know. I hear that a lot too. I guess I don't know, have a twang.
Yeah. So then what, like growing up, what did you think was a lot of money? Compared to when you started to make money, like what was like, Because I remember thinking $1 million was
Yeah.
I was like, if you make $1 million, you're set. Like, I was like, that's a game. I remember legit saying, if you can make $1 million before you're 33, you did it. You did it. That's the game. You get any chick you want, you have any car you want, you live anywhere you want. Like, I didn't know that $1 million doesn't turn out that way.
No, it sure does not. But even like, I would feel like back when I was a kid, if I saw, $1 million, if I ever had $1 million, I would get me like a BMW or like that was, like that's fancy. And to me, a lot of money was, I would look at my aunt. My aunt had a lot of money growing up. And
like how much now?
So I don't know now. She lives in one of the nicest neighborhoods in San Jose and she's lived there for years. And so it's like, we always knew she just has like 8 bathrooms in her house and we have one.
Whoa, what did your aunt do?
She was a nurse, but her husband was in real estate.
Wow.
He owned a lot of properties.
Is your aunt hot?
She is very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how that works. Very few ugly aunts get real estate husbands. There's so many things that as a comic, you shave down whatever story you need to hear and just tell the story you need to know. So like one of my things that always gets groans, and I never understand why, is when you see like an older man with a hot woman and I go second wife, and I go married, and then I go second wife, and then because everyone just goes, oh, what are you trying to say?
But it's
like,
true.
Yeah, you're like that. Yeah, that guy doesn't get that chick.
Right.
Unless he's got like the Benjamin Button's disease and he ages super quick.
Sure.
But keep going. I'm sorry. So you got a hot rich aunt.
So my aunt, this is what was a lot of money to me, is I would be with her and she'd like reach into her pocket and she'd be like, oh, I didn't know I had this $20 in here. And to me, that was mind-blowing that someone could live without having every dollar accounted for. The fact that you just forgot you had $20 in your pocket, I could never imagine that happening ever in my life because every dollar is accounted for. All the change is accounted for. Did you get my change? It was 36 cents. Yes. Did you get my change? Like everything's accounted for. So I remember that when I would see her do that, I'd be like, wow, that's freedom right there. And then when I knew I was starting to make it, I remember one day I was going through an old jacket and I found like $20 in my pocket, and it was kind of like an emotional moment that I had. I was like, "Oh, I'm experiencing freedom. I didn't have to account for every dollar anymore. This is like what I used to see my aunt do back in the day."
That's crazy. Was there ever a moment where you began to see your aunt in a different light when you realized the stresses of financial responsibility?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because everyone comes to her for help when they need help in the family. And
I bet.
Including my mom as well. And like us, we have needed help from her many times. And now being in this position where I have people who need help, I'm like, oh, I get it. Aunt Celia. I know what it feels like,
Yeah.
But it also is, that's our family, is we're very generous. We take care of each other and all of that, of course, without like enabling. But
what is it? This is the dumbest question I'm going to ask you all fucking day.
Okay.
I don't really know the answer, but I think I do. But you're Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because to assume, I think coming from Southern California, you assume immediately a lot. I mean, I thought Joe Coy was Mexican for a long time. And then you're like, oh, Filipino. That's totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not really, because everyone's got the same Spanish name.
I know.
And so, but 100% Mexican? Is your dad Mexican?
So we're Mexican and Native American on both sides. Both my parents have Native American blood in them. But we're Mexican American. We're Latinos.
You speak Spanish?
No.
Not at all?
Very American.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I spoke Spanish.
Does your mom speak Spanish?
No. That's the thing is I'm 4th generation. So
Holy
my
shit.
mom was born here. My grandma was born here. It's my great grandma who was born in Mexico, or my great great grandma who was born in Mexico.
So no one in your family can make tortillas?
My grandma, but she's passed.
Can I
tamales, took the recipe with her.
So I have started keeping a happiness journal.
Oh, good.
And then so I set goals for myself every month. Last month's goal was to learn how to surf. I've been going through a lot of shit. I've been going through a lot of shit of trying to find out why I'm happy and why I'm not happy. And I feel like if I can whittle, and people have heard me say this, but if I can whittle out the little things that don't make me happy, and then dial in on what makes me happy.
Love that.
And so one thing I decided was that I've always wanted to surf. I've surfed at times in my life, but I've wanted to be someone who found that as an activity to do because it would keep me healthy, it would keep me young, and I think it would be it's fun to learn something new. Yeah. And we went to San Diego, and I went surfing. I caught on my own 2 waves and rode them, and I had a fucking blast, and I felt very proud. This is going to sound so stupid. My goal this month is to learn how to make flour tortillas.
I love that. Why is it your goal?
Because every time I've ever had homemade flour tortillas, I've always appreciated my meal that much more. And I love tortillas. I think they're a great delivery system for food, you know? And if I could be in control of making my own homemade flour tortillas, I was like, it's something I really, really genuinely want to learn how to do. And it's difficult because you got to get lard. Yeah. And lard isn't, it's
not healthy.
Yeah, it's not healthy. And I think there's some other stuff. Like I had homemade tortillas in San Antonio. They dropped off, I forget the name of the place, but they dropped off a stack and it made everything better. Yeah. And I didn't want to overwhelm myself with a big goal. One of my goals this month is to lose 10 pounds. I don't know where I'm at, but my pants fit loose today.
Come on.
Yeah, so that's all that matters. I'm not stepping on. I look at the scale the same way I look at Twitter. I just kind of glance at it and I go, what the fuck am I looking at for? So that's homemade tortillas. And I always ask that every time I have a friend who's Mexican, can your mom make tortillas? And the answer is always no. It's always it's like, hey man, we're just as American as you. We get them at the store also. Like just not everyone, man. That's like going.
I've tried a few times, but it's like either it's the texture is not the same as my grandma's, or mine come out looking like different shapes, like the states of the United States, and hers were always like perfectly round. So I've not mastered it. I have attempted a few times though.
So this is a bizarre question, and I'll ask it by answering it first.
Okay.
So like that you met my cousin. Being Irish is a part of our identity, but it's not overwhelming. And I always assume anyone from any other ethnicity, part of their culture is their identity. Like I feel like it's one of the things we miss out on as being white dudes is like if you start celebrating yourself being German too much, it looks racist. Yeah. It's like you can't. But like, how much was being Mexican a part of your identity growing up?
So that's an interesting question because I grew up wishing I was more Latino than I actually was because I didn't speak Spanish, because I didn't live in a neighborhood where a lot of Latino people lived. And I always wanted to be more of what I thought I was supposed to be. Now I'm at a different place where I don't feel like I can be any more than what I already am. Yeah. But I want to learn Spanish for the sake of, I want to be able to communicate with people and be in touch with my culture, not so I can prove myself. Like back then I needed to prove myself. Yeah. There's still situations now where I'm in a conversation and then it starts turning into Spanish and then I'm like, oh shoot. And then I have to like slowly back away from the conversation.
Well, that's a big thing in California is like I'm good friends with Jesus Trejo. And many times you'll walk into a place and they will just address him in Spanish. Yeah. And you're like, and I'm like, that's a roll of the dice. Because growing up in Florida, none of my Cuban friends spoke Spanish at all. Like todos. I mean, and so that would be sketchy, especially people just assuming I'll roll off some Spanish and then you're like, Well,
let me tell you, every time I go to Vallarta and I know little bits. And as soon as I'm like, hola, buenos dias, then it's like,
you do it with the accent.
I'm like, oh, shoot. Despacio? A little slower, please. Sorry. English.
You do it with the Spanish accent. Like my Spanish, I feel gross when I do it with Spanish accent. like my favorite meal is picadillo, right? Like I love picadillo.
Oh,
it's picadillo.
Yeah,
it's my favorite meal, but I don't want to put too much of an accent on, so I kind of fuck the word up because I feel like it's like if someone Mexican was like, "Hello, Bert, how are you doing?" And I'm like, you can just do the thing you need to do. Yeah, like I don't need you to turn it on.
Yeah,
but it's it's interesting because I wanted to be a lot of different things. I wanted to have some like when you say Native American, I remember one time saying at the Brea Improv, a guy was Native American in the front row, and I was like, oh, how fucking cool. And he goes, why? You know, remember the Brea Improv was like that, where it was like super conversational, like you would do a show, but it was very interactive. And he goes, why? And I said, well, I just think that would be, do you know what kind of Native American? He's like, I think like Navajo. I go, you don't know, man? You don't know your history? And he goes, hey, man, what are you? And I was like, I don't know, like Irish and German, I think. And he was like, hold on. You don't know your shit, but you think I should know my shit? And he goes, do you think that you would be more interested in yourself if you were Native American? And I was like, it's a really good point. No, I would not. I would be just as bored with my history. I wouldn't talk to my mom about, tell us more about our
ancestors.
Who's
this philosopher in your front row? This guy, listen.
He was part black hat, part Native American. And and trust me, I had fun with that.
Yeah.
He was like, make a joke out of that. And I was like, okay, runs from police. And so,
I hate you so much.
Yeah. So, but that's fascinating. What, like, it's a horrible question. What kind of Mexican did you want to be? Like, did you, like, because I remember when I was a kid, when I came out here, you had like, there were like different types of, you'd have the goth Mexicans that were overweight, right? You'd have the cowboy,
the 80s,
this cowboy Mexicans,
rancheros.
Yeah, and like they were like, I remember seeing like so many different cultures of Mexican, and like I remember one time these dudes were working on our house, and I said I love ranchero music, and they're like, this is norteños music, and I was like, the fuck's the difference? And he's like, oh, bro, come on, and I was like, I'm sorry, and so like when you were a kid, it sounds silly to ask, and I apologize if it's insulting, but
no,
I see you as Mexican. What did you want to be?
I wanted to be a chola. I wanted to be a gangster. That's the life I wanted. I wanted to just roll in a 64 Impala with hydraulic, lean to the side. Like, that's what I wanted. Go cruising down Story and King with my boo. You know what I mean? Like, that's the life I wanted. I wanted a boyfriend with, like, tattoos all over his neck. You know what I mean? Like, that was my life. I wanted that so bad. That's why the title of my book is Who Do I Think I Am? Stories of Chola Wishes and Caviar Dreams. Because
for real. Oh, that's a beautiful title.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
Thank you so much.
God.
I wanted to be a chola real bad. Like, it was, I idolized the girls that lived on the other side of the tracks. I would come home and ask my mom, like, Mom, do we have any family members in prison? Because I was looking for street cred. I just wanted some street cred. And she was like, no, we're not that family. Like, stop. You know? And I was like,
I'm so sorry I raised you right.
I know. And I'm like, I wanted to live in the hood. I was so sad that there were no cars on blocks in our neighborhood. There were no primered cars rolling down. There was nothing. It was just like a nice middle-class neighborhood. But I wanted to be over there in the hood.
Wait, what were there movies that you saw growing up that helped draw this fantasy?
I mean, yes, Mi Vida Loca, Blood In, Blood Out, Training Day.
Blood In, Blood Out's a great movie. A great fucking movie.
Yeah.
It is a great fucking movie. And I think everything I know about Mexicans was formed out of that one movie. That movie and the Richie Valens story.
Oh my God.
La Bamba.
Oh God.
I was like every Mexican.
Have you ever gone to his museum?
No.
It's not far from here, Richie Valens Museum.
Are you serious?
It's San Fernando Valley. It's where he's from.
Oh, Donna.
Bro, go to the museum.
By the way, I was kind of obsessed with him because I have a fear of flying. And I'm very I have rituals and I wear a necklace that I wear to protect me from flying. You've
always had this, or
since I was a child, I've had a fear of flying. It is one thing I would change about myself. If I could change that about myself, no one might ever see me drink again. If I because I only drink because of flights, and then flights will loosen up. Like I won't drink. I'm not drinking right now, but I won't drink probably. Maybe I'll drink at the Super Bowl. Then I won't drink, and then when I get on the plane, I'll drink. And then once I had a drink, I'll drink that night on the road, because I know I'm drinking on the flight back. And so drinking on planes has been a big deal. And Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, that whole
yes
plane crash was one of the many plane crashes that Roberto Clemente, who was the catcher for the Yankees, that he died when I was God damn it, I could tell you his name if I he died when I was a kid, and I remember asking my dad, catcher for the Yankees, not Jorge Posada. Thurman Munson. Thurman Munson. See when he died. Thurman Munson died in a plane crash, and I want to say I was a child, and I said to my dad, "How does he have a family?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, he's got children." And I said, "Wait, what happens to his children?" And he goes, "They just don't have a father." And I was like, "That's something that can happen to people?" He was like, "Yeah, don't get on airplanes." You know, my dad, "Don't get on airplanes." And you're like,
"Oh no!"
And then you're like imprinted. You're like, "Oh motherfucker." So
now
yeah,
I'll be a touring comedian.
I have a terrible fear of flying. I don't know, but that's why I connected with Richie Valens. And this is going to sound silly, but in Florida, I know that I'm going to say this, and then people are more than welcome to have their opinion of it being different. In Tampa, growing up, we didn't see color and Latino. Like we didn't. There were so many Cuban kids that were our best friends that it kind of like Florida was still semi-segregated growing up. There were black neighborhoods like Dwight Gooden, Gary Sheffield. They all grew up in, I think, Belmont Heights, which is a black neighborhood.
Okay.
But that didn't happen with Latinos. So when I first saw that movie, I also didn't understand the difference between Mexican and Cuban and Puerto Rican. Guatemalan. I didn't understand any of those differences. I mean, so much so that I remember I spoke a little Spanish when I went to Spain, and they were like, "How do you understand Spanish?" And I just said I'm Cuban because I was like, and they're like, "You're not fucking Cuban." And I was like, "Well, how the fuck can you tell the difference between me and Ty Rodriguez? We look identical. The fuck are you talking about?" Like Troy Kent's half Cuban. His mom's name's Mercedes. Like, are you like? How do you pull up a picture of fucking Troy Kent? Tell me this kid looks Cuban or not, right? Troy Kent, Dean Kent. Tell me if they look Cuban. They're fucking Cuban, right? I wonder if you're really going to find Troy Kent. Okay. Dean Kent, that baseball picture. I think that's him. Baseball. That's Troy Kent. No, that's not him. But like Troy Kent and Dean Kent are two of my best friends growing up. Okay. Their mom was Cuban. And then we all spoke enough Spanish to get by. Anyway, I don't know where this is fucking going. I liked that movie, the Bamba.
I like all the Cholo movies. Anything with Cholos in it, I was obsessed. Like that was my jam. Growing up, I was like 14, 15, dating this guy who was in a gang. He had a kid and like never graduated high school. Like that was my man. Like I was like, I won, honey. He's like, back up, he's mine, y'all. Like no high school education, just has a kid. I'm playing stepmom at 14.
Are you at 14?
That was the life that I wanted.
You were dating a guy when you were 14?
Yeah. And he had a kid.
And clearly having sex if he had a kid.
Well, so I wasn't. He was. So that was a thing. So I was like in this area of my life where I wanted to be a chola real bad, do drugs. So I started doing drugs when I was 12 and 13.
Wait, what the fuck? This is not who I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I know who you are. I mean, I know who you are kind of, but like I know you. I know enough about you to know I can't believe this is part of your story.
I know. I mean, I don't talk about it on stage in my act, which is why I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book and put it all in there because I've shared these stories at like when I spoke at women's conferences or young girls conferences and things like that, where it's more of like you're sharing your life story, not just like jokes and punchlines. So, let's see, 12, 13, 14, I started doing drugs.
Like smoking weed?
Like we smoked weed. We were doing crank in the bathroom at 6th grade, going into the bathroom in our junior high school. And just really, like, I remember doing lines in the bathroom in 6th grade with my friends. And my best friend at the time, her mom was a drug addict and her boyfriend was a drug dealer. So that made things very convenient. So anytime I would go to their house, it was like whatever we wanted was available to us. And so here we are, these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls just living our best life. So we think, God. And so again, that was what I wanted. I was hungry for that. I was like, yeah, I want to live in the hood. And, like it's tough or whatever it was, which is not how my mom raised me, but that's the life that I wanted. And so I started dating this guy. He's in a gang. He has a kid. But at the same time, my mom started taking me to church. So now I'm like caught between these two worlds of I start going to this church that's very diverse. There's a lot of different people there. Filipino, Latinos, Black people, white people, a lot of different Asians. Like everybody's here at this church. And they're like me. Like they're just real people. They're not like cheesy, dorky kids. So it's like, oh, I like these kids. And then now I'm torn because I know I shouldn't be doing these things. I should be doing these things. And so I was living this double life of like, I want to be a chola. Let me go do drugs. Go cruising with my friends. But at the same time, I'm starting to learn about Jesus. And I want to go to youth camp with my new friends and like have all these spiritual experiences with my new youth camp friends. And so that was like this double life that I was living my teenage years, all while trying to be more Mexican than I felt that I actually was.
My God. Why don't kids find Jesus anymore? Like we all, I mean, like all of us, me and all of my friends at one point were going to, it was called Young Life is what it was called. And you would go to Young Life and then they take you to Windy Gap. And it was like the coolest. Monday nights was like Young Life, and everyone would go to someone's house, and then it wasn't like super heavy Jesus. It was like just help you talk about your things, and this is all based in God. And it was cool, and it was a time you got to see chicks. So like, the chicks would go, and you'd go and hang out. We were in high school, and there were some guys that took it too far. Shout out to Tyler, PJ, Obi, and Chad, aka regulators. So, no, fuck. I mean, but like my kids just don't believe in God. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit. 'Cause, you know, look, I'm not over religious, obviously, but I wear my necklace and I pray when I pray. You know, I definitely pray probably more than anyone in my fucking house. But I haven't been to church in forever. But I in my head I just go, that's fine. I got to go to church Friday with my wife. My wife hasn't been to a Catholic church in fucking forever, ever.
Do you think you pray more than anybody in your house because of your fears? Is it your fears that make you pray, or do you pray gratitude prayers?
I do gratitude. That's really interesting you say that, Anjelah. I do gratitude prayers every morning. I'm home outside with the sun hitting me. I think I try to be dialed into things I'm grateful for, and then find those things I'm grateful for and see how I can repay it forward so that they are grateful for me tomorrow. I find myself grateful for very, very small things that shouldn't matter, like bird feeders. I'm very grateful that we have bird feeders in our backyard. And so I make sure that those birds are grateful that we put them up, so that I make sure they're always filled. I will make sure our bird bath, watching a bird take a bird bath is one of my favorite things in the world. Hummingbirds, I'm grateful for hummingbirds. So I make sure like those little things, like we have owls are my totem. And so I know I sound like a fucking lunatic right now. We have an owl that lives in our thing. So I built an owl house. A guy bought an owl house for him so he had a place to live. But the things that I do gratitudes. And so, but then I have an OCD thing where I pray, like last night my daughter's doing this thing, and I was beat. I was in bed. I was half asleep. And I don't know if it's divine intervention, but my something said to me, hey, you should say a prayer for Georgia, because she's experiencing a lot of things that are new to her, and she may be out of her comfort zone, and just say a prayer for her real quick. And so I said a prayer real quick for her, very simple, nothing too big, but I pray. Love
that.
I pray in the shower a lot, so like I'll go through a hardcore prayer. For it starts with my wife, my daughters, my dogs, my cats, then my sister, her husband, their kids, my other sister, my parents, and then I think about other people that may need it. I was told at a very young age, you never pray for yourself for what you need. Whoa. Never pray for yourself. Oh. Pray only for other people. That was, I don't know, maybe that was in a fucking movie.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, maybe it was in a fucking movie. But like, so I just say prayers for everyone else, and then I wrap it up. I don't know. I talk to God all the time. But like I said, I think I had this weird base of like, I went to all boys Catholic high school. It's a good question. So because I don't need to tell anyone where my faith showed up. My faith showed up out of anxiety, I think, the most. thought losing my virginity was a big month of me going to church by myself on Sundays.
From shame?
Shame, forgiveness, humility. It was a lot. It was a lot. I went to church. We go to church every morning at school, a small mass, but I would go to church on Sundays when it was not noticeable because my whole family didn't go. And I'd run to church and I just pray to God saying like, I know you got a path for me. I'm hoping that you're putting me on the right path, and I can't ask for anything. I don't want to ask for anything, but I just need to make sure you got an eye on me. And he's always had an eye on me, I think.
Do you still believe that you shouldn't pray for yourself?
I don't pray for myself. So it manifests itself differently. So what I do is I'm going to sound like a fucking lunatic. I'll say a prayer if I see double numbers. I'll know God's watching out for me, and that's all I need to know.
Great.
So if I see double numbers, 11, 11, 22, 22, every time I get on the treadmill, I see all zeros, and I go, oh, he loves me. And he's going, yeah, that's right. Get on the fucking treadmill. I got you. This is your path. And so it's bizarre. And I know that this isn't
Bert, you're
sexy.
so in tune. You're so in tune with God and yourself in your own way. And that's what all those little things that you hear, like, oh, say a little prayer for Georgia. Or just like the fact that you would see all zeros and be like, oh, God loves me. So many people do not correlate the two or attribute that to God and say like, oh, God loves me, and remind themselves to look within, because we have so many things that we can be thinking about all day. We can be stressed about our bills, our kids, or whatever it is, our careers, and, you know, on social media scrolling and then comparing yourself to other people's lives. Like if you're, you know, you're trying to have kids and you can't, but then you see all your friends get pregnant, and then there's like those kinds of things too. And so whether it's entertainment industry people scrolling and comparing themselves, or it's just anybody who lives anywhere in the world dealing with something like, oh, I don't feel like my husband loves me, and look at this girl posting her husband just brought her roses, like things like that. And then you start comparing yourself, right? So many things that we have to think about in life that we don't take enough time to look within, to pause, to realign. And if you see double numbers, be like, oh, God loves me. And pause in that for a second and take yourself out of the rat race. Take yourself out of the self-deprecating mode, like, nobody loves me, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, God loves me. Like, you're so in tune. That's really, really cool. I don't think you sound like a lunatic at all.
Well, I know, but like, it's not sexy to like have faith in Hollywood. It's not. It's definitely not sexy. Well, it's sexy to have faith if you're another religion. If you're Kabbalah, is that a thing still?
I think so.
And like, or Scientologist, or like, people then all of a sudden respect it. But if God forbid, you know, God's always shown up for me at the right times. Like, I remember I had to do a set for my first set that ever mattered. And it was at Boston Comedy Club for Will Smith's production company. David Tochterman was in the audience, and it was going to...
In New York?
In New York. I was 26 years old, and it would decide if I was going to get a deal, six-figure deal.
Whoa.
And it was a big deal. It was a list of killers on that stage at night. And one of my best friends to this day is a woman I lived with at the time, not romantically, but we had dated in the past, but we weren't living romantically. And her mom was very religious. And I was about to go on stage, and she said, she gave me a hug, and she whispered in my ear, Jesus has a plan for you, and he's always got you in his eye. And she's like, have a great set. It's like, some people would be like, what the fuck was that? But I like that shit. I like that.
Yeah.
My manager is Judy Marmel. And we had to do a big set. We had to do a big set for Jameson Comedy Tour. We're doing the Jameson Comedy Tour. It's $5,000 a week. If you did, everyone got $5,000 a week. That's a lot of fucking money back in the day. It's a lot of money now, but back in the day, it was more money than I was ever going to make for another few years. Sure. And we were in Boston, and the Jameson people had flown out to see us, and we needed to kill. And Judy just, you know, Judy's never been shy about her faith. She just grabbed all of us, me, Billy Gardell, Mike Loftus, and Danny Bevins, grabbed all of us and said, let's hold our hands and let's say a prayer. I love that shit. Now, I'm not the guy that's ever going to go, guys, let's grab our hands and say a prayer. I'm not that guy. I kind of keep shit to myself. I love when people go, Let's ask for some divine intervention here and
Yeah.
get put on the right path. I love it. I love it. This podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Therapy. BetterHelp wants to tackle some of the stigmas around mental health, and I could not agree more. I just read an article on Charlemagne de God who said he is doing the same thing, and it's so important because a lot of people think therapy is for other people. But utilizing therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you recognize that all humans have emotions and that we need to learn to understand them, not avoid them. We've all been taught that taking care of our mental health shouldn't be a part of every day. Major misconception. We take care of our bodies by exercising. We brush our teeth every morning. We go to the doctor. We eat well. Focusing on and investing in mental health is just the same as focusing and investing in the health of your body. You're just investing in the health of your mind, and it's just as important. Some people might think you should wait until things are unbearable, then try therapy. Bullshit. That is not true. Nip it in the bud. Therapy is a tool to utilize before you get that bad, and it can help you avoid those lows. Trust me, from a guy who's been in therapy for quite a fucking while now. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in just under 48 hours. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. And Bertcast listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Bert. That's betterhelp.com/Bert. My bus driver pulled me aside and said to me, "Do you know how you can lose weight?" And I said, "How?" And he goes, "You need a psychologically based approach." I went, "Mother, are you talking about Noom?" I do reads for Noom. Ron swears by it, and Ron looks fantastic right now. Ron's chick swears by it, and he walked me through it. He didn't need to walk me through it. I know how great Noom is. Unlike other restrictive diets or workout programs, Noom uses psychology to empower you with the practical knowledge and skills you need to build smarter, more sustainable long-term habits and behaviors. Their psychology approach is based on scientifically proven principles like CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which better helps people understand their relationships with food and why they eat the way they do eat. Noom understands that the weight loss journey is difficult with ups and downs. That's why they believe it's about progress, not about perfection, because everyone's journey is going to be different. My journey has been fucking up and down and up and down. It's been insane. And here's the biggest thing I love about Noom. It's totally okay to have a day off. It's not gonna set you off course. Noom's weight gently gets you back on track. You're the boss. You decide how Noom's weight fits in your life, not the other way around. 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. How much time you want to spend on the app? It's up to you. They give you the knowledge and the wisdom you need to make informed choices that not only fit your lifestyle, but help you reach your goals. More than 75% of the users complete the program. More than 60% of the users lose 5% or more body weight by 16 weeks. And more than 60% of users engage with the program keep the weight off for a year or more. Noom is grounded in science. It's the heart of everything they do. They have published more than 30 peer-reviewed scientific articles that inform users, practitioners, scientists, and the public about how their methods work and how effective they are. Sign up for your trial and get psychology-based support and motivation to reach your goals at noom.com/Bertcast. That's noom.com/Bertcast to sign up for your trial.
In my green rooms, it started as a coping mechanism for my anxiety, but then it just started to become a thing of celebration. But it's I practice gratitude for my anxiety. And so anytime
I like that. I'm very grateful for my anxiety. My anxiety is the reason we stayed through we've lived through the pandemic. My anxiety, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm grateful for my anxiety.
Yeah.
Because my anxiety is the reason I create things.
Yeah.
My anxiety is the reason we had a stack full of freezed meat when the pandemic started, and we had toilet paper and we had water and we had everything, because I'm an anxious person and I was like, God forbid anything happen. And it's the reason I created the fucking drive-in theater tour. It's the reason I come up with promos. Is my anxiety sits there and goes, the fuck are you doing today? That's it, man. Your career's over. You're done. Everyone knows, man, you're fucking, you got one good story. That's it. And I was like, So I'm so sorry, but keep
No,
going. You're in your green room.
Yeah. So I practice gratitude, and I'm like, yes, anxiety, you're trying to protect me. Thank you for trying to protect me. Thank you, anxiety, for trying to reveal things to me. I'm actually good. I have to do a lot of self-talk with myself. But if I ever start feeling anxious in my green room before a show or wherever, I'm feeling heavy, or I'm feeling like just not myself, I'm not joyful, and I just feel like a heaviness on me, it's usually a manifestation of my anxiety. I'm usually anxious about something and I can't really articulate it. Then I'll just pause, and in the room, I say, let's do gratefuls. Everybody go around the room and share something that you're grateful for.
I just did this the other night.
Because, and I read this in a book, You Are a Badass, by Jen Sincero. Love that book. But she was talking about how gratitude begets gratitude. And when you put gratitude out there, it comes back to you, which you were just talking about. And the same thing, like when we tell jokes, we tell the joke and their laughter is their thank you. And we tell another joke, and it's like a big circle of gratitude that we're doing that whole hour that we're on stage. It's just a whole circle of gratitude. So gratitude shifts your perspective. Gratitude shifts your energy, and it raises your vibration. Anxiety is a low vibration emotion. Fear, anger, that's all low. Up here is gratitude, joy, all these kinds of emotions here. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling a type of way. I'm going to practice gratitude. And then if you're exuding gratitude, you're raising your vibration, you're raising. Next, you know, this whole room vibration just raised a little bit, so we can stop operating in this low space over here. So if I feel it, I'll be like, let's do gratitudes. Or if I see someone else, like maybe I can see if my opener is having some anxiety and I could catch it. I'm like, your waves are touching me and I don't like what's happening right now. So let's all do some gratitude, because I feel like you stressed out, and let's all get on board together.
I used to have a buddy, one of the same dudes that was in the God Squad in the Regulators, who moved out to LA. And I remember he wasn't happy in LA, and he would come to my house and he would displace his bad mood on, he needed to give it to you so he could get rid of it. And he'd show up and he'd be like, fucking traffic sucks. Fucking, have you been down there? And then you'd be like, okay, what are you doing? This isn't. And then once he got you to feel like shit, he felt better. And I was like, I remember saying to him, hey, you can't do this to me anymore. Like, if you come over here and you walk in the door, like, I'm in a good mood. I need you to be in a good mood. Like, I don't mind listening to you if you have stuff. But it seems like you always show up with a problem and you displace it to me in order to make it. And
it's very observational of you.
I am. So usually I'm not that observational, but in that case I was. But I'm not like a super insightful dude. But there was, when I got COVID, I thought to myself, what am I? My health is very important, and I never realized that before. Like I operate hungover all the time, and so but I can operate at a pretty high level hungover. I can show up, do the work, be on time, not feel hungover, not act hungover, work out, deadlift, do it radio interviews, get everything done. I mean, and so but when I got COVID, I was like I'm operating below average. Like, imagine if I just operated a little higher. And that's when that and a couple other things. Rob Dyrdek is a really interesting dude. I'd love to talk to him about this. He said he can quantify how many good days he has a year because he keeps track of them. I wish I could find the clip, but he measures his day, quantifies his day, and he can tell you exactly how many good days and bad days he's had during a year. And I love numbers.
Interesting.
And so I thought that would be cool to be able to go through and know what your good days and bad days were. Like, yesterday was a good day, but health-wise, it was a bad day because I've been partying for a while.
So I feel like I have been programmed.
This is the clip, but we'll keep going.
So I feel like I've been programmed to shift everything and make it a positive thing, which has its benefits, but also can be damaging if you don't allow yourself to experience and express whatever negativity that you feel. You have to allow your feelings to feel what they feel.
Yeah.
So if you are constantly being like, oh, this bad thing happened, but at least I'm still healthy. Oh, I didn't get that part in the movie, but at least they were considering me for it. And now I'm in these conversations. So I'm like used to trying to like flip my perspective to make something positive. But sometimes, no, that just sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't like today.
I didn't get on Last Comic Standing 2. And I remember thinking at the time, you're not ready, but I needed that money. Like I was having Georgia. We had no money coming in. But being on Last Comic Standing allowed me to start featuring. So I could feature based off Last Comic Standing. And it wasn't until recently that I was like, thank God I didn't get Last Comic Standing 2. Like I look back as that a blessing, but it's okay to be let down and bummed out. And there's so many things that have happened in my career where I go, thank God I got fired from Travel Channel. That was really hard to swallow, but it taught me, like, I think I'm a rebound guy where I go, give me the hard shit and let me see how I get out of it. Because I almost enjoy the rebirth a tad bit. And I look, I'm not saying like, you know, that's my strong suit, but when I got fired from Travel Channel and I got taken off the Funny or Die tour and we were redoing our house and I had no money coming in. Wow. I had canceled all my tour dates. My wife wanted me to get a vasectomy. Tom was fat shaming me. All this shit was happening at one time. There's a silence that comes with that where you just are sitting there going, so where do we start? It's almost like looking at a dirty room and going, where do we start cleaning?
Yeah,
you know?
Oh, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming, but then like at the same time, you're like, as I'm listening to your talk, to you talk, I'm telling myself things like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Like that's one of my affirmations of like when everything is like, oh, you didn't get this, you got kicked off of this tour, you know, Tom's doing this, with all these things, and that deep breath, and then it's, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You're and then moving from there.
Those are my mom's sayings. You're right where you're supposed to be. It all comes out in the wash. Everything's going to be fun. You know how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. My mom has like all these elephants, all these things. So like how quick was your connection with your religion versus and the path you took? Because because whereas I probably at roughly the same age got introduced to Young Life. I hope Young Life's a thing and people know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I've heard of it.
Okay. Yeah. So when I got introduced to Young Life, I take everything pretty serious, especially if it makes me feel good. And so and then it's like as soon as I went to college, I was like, I went to church a couple times in college. But like, how quickly did that connect with you going? Because I know you to be a person of faith today, but how, like, did you veer off? Did you go, I got my time where I'm partying? Did you stop partying? Like,
oh yeah, it's been a journey for sure. And even now for the past 5 years, I mean, I grew up, doing the youth group. And then after that broke up with my gangbanger boyfriend and was like, okay, I'm just going to be like sold out for Jesus and be like super Christian and all the rules. No sex before marriage. Like you shouldn't be doing drugs anymore. Don't drink alcohol, like all the things. Don't say cuss words, all the things. And then all the way through my 20s and my 30s. And when I got married, just evolving as a woman, evolving in my own faith, started asking a lot of questions about my faith and realizing that I didn't 100% subscribe to all of the things that I had been taught growing up.
Yeah.
And so for the past 5 to 6 years, I'd say I've been deconstructing my Christian faith and reconstructing what my faith is, what my belief system is, and just trying to rid myself of things that are not true, but I've been taught my whole upbringing is true. And to do that, it's very brave work because you're told one
there's
thing,
a lot of Christians not doing that.
And it's like I had asked questions my whole life, like, but I don't get it. But what about this? And I just been, okay, well, you're not supposed to know every answer. There's God's mysteries. Okay. And then things just didn't start adding up. And it was everything from like, I have a lot of gay family members, gay friends, fans. Like, I love my gays. And I had a real hard time with church being like, oh, but you can't be gay.
Yeah.
That's like, no, you go to hell. And it's like, I don't know that I subscribe to that. I don't know that I agree with that anymore. Disconnect. And I start cutting ties. I start cutting ties with things that I no longer subscribe to and believe. And so for this season of my life that I'm in now, I am still a faithful person. I'm redefining what that looks like for me. So like when we were talking about praying, I used to think you pray one way. You say these words and it's usually like, yes, Lord and Father God, we just pray that, you would come and help this person because they're going through a hard time right now and blah, 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 blah. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah. And that's how you have to pray. Like that's what a prayer is. To me, now a prayer is simply in the morning when I'm doing my yoga stretches and I'm like, thank you, God, that my body works. Mm-hmm. That's my prayer. And I'm just like, God, I just thank you for the creativity that's flowing out of me. And I start doing my affirmations like I am abundance, health, wealth, creativity, love, kindness, generosity. I am abundance. And all of that is a prayer to me.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not saying it the way I was taught growing up.
Yeah.
So I'm still very faithful, but it just is being redefined right now.
See, that's interesting. I think maybe part of the Catholic religion was so into forgiveness that it was like, I mean, the night before our big we had like a 2-hour mass once a year. It was like on a Friday, and they would give us I think it was like until noon. It was like fucking 8 till noon. It was like maybe a 4-hour mass. It was a long fucking mass. Mm-hmm. And the night before, our goal was to sin as much as possible so that we had something to talk about. And so we would, I mean, I've never had a problem sinning ever. I've cursed, I've drank, I've cheated on all my girlfriends, never my wife, but strip clubs, never saw that. Like, I think that's the Catholic coveting people.
Oh, right. Yeah, wanting what they have.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I like about Instagram is to watch someone and be like, God damn it, man. Look how cool that looks. Like, I've never had a problem with that.
I want a yacht.
Like, it's like, look, man, it's interesting because I think we've talked about this before. But you hopped off Instagram for a month at one point, and you were like,
talk about it.
You were like, I'm comparing myself to people that's not fair.
That was the same night I almost plucked your lucky eyelash.
Yeah. And I always had a hard time with that because Dane is like I don't know what it's like for women. I don't really see that. I don't see that race with women or with at all. And I probably should, but the race I was always in was like Dane Cook was like the fucking king. Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura. These guys were like all way ahead of me at different times of the race that you'd call it. But I enjoyed like when Dane got his house, his big house he lives in now. I remember reading it in the trades or something like, and I was like, it inspired me. Like I got really into it. I was like, fuck, like you can make that kind of money from stand up. Like I remember Tom and I've always been very open about what we made, but I remember one time him explaining what he was making on something. I was like, that money's out there. Like that, I can strive to that. And with Joe, clearly I've taken the podcast theme, the business model he set up for all of us. And I'm certain there are people that stomp their foot and go, I don't like what he does. I don't like the way he does it, or oh, come on, he's not, look who he has on or whatever. I've always looked at it as like, that's so cool that you're not beholden to anyone and you get to do what you want to do. So I've always looked at coveting as like a if powered right, like a positive. And so I've always enjoyed coveting. If that sounds horrible,
it inspires you of what's possible. I don't know that that's necessarily coveting. Maybe
it's not.
I think we would have to look up the definition, but I feel like it's really you
Paulson,
being inspired.
You're like Christian, aren't you?
Yeah, I grew up hardcore Christian.
You should know coveting. Come on.
What's the def?
Gerud? I don't even know what a gerud.
Yeah, me
Gerund
either.
or present?
Yearn to
or-
possess or have something. So yearning to. So if you saw Dane's house and you're like, oh, I gotta have it. Like
That's not how I felt.
I think that's what coveting is.
Yeah, I
You're
don't
yearning
covet
for
them.
that
I don't
house.
covet. I don't covet.
You were more like, that's what's possible. Shit, I want that. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like when do you ever? This is a weird comic only thing. But do you ever see might be a male comic thing. Do you ever see like a fan in a meet and greet who's like a mess and they've got a beautiful wife and you're like, how the fuck did he get her?
Oh yeah.
Like and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm so fascinated now by you because you got hurt. What the fuck happened here?
Yeah,
were you in a car accident, sir?
Yeah.
Like, were you hit by a tractor?
What happened?
Like, but I don't covet. Like, I don't go like, oh, I want her. Like, and there are comics that covet.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk to you. Well, I want to pivot.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about the fucking star rocket ride to success that you had.
Yeah,
because it's really, it's one of there's a few things in comedy that are folklore. There's a few things that you'll hear. The guy Chicken, you remember Chicken? Chicken was a guy that Michael Roof is his name. I'm really fascinated by him. I knew him, but he was a guy that went to Montreal, got a big deal, and like a $500,000 deal, and they turned into this TV show Hype, and then it fizzled and it killed the deal, killed the development deal. It destroyed Montreal's development deal process forever. Right? I'm gonna name a few more. Mitch Hedberg went to Montreal, did one set, killed. They offered him $750,000, and Dave Becky put on him a plane and said, "Do not do stand up in front of anyone ever again until we get this money and we get this deal." So there's folklore. Fluffy would go out and he would do 7 shows in Ontario, and then the next week come back and do 9 shows in Ontario, and then the next week do 9 shows in Ontario. There are certain folklores of this business where you talk about someone. Jeff Garcia would sell $10,000 worth of CDs. He would print them in the back, and then he'd sell 10. Like there's Pablo Francisco's line for merch was a mile long. Like there's these folklores, and your folklore is probably the most. I say the word. I hope I'm using the word meteoric, meaning it was like a meteor taking off. You did. Oh shit! Hold on, my wife's getting a cat.
Okay.
Okay. Is that the cat you want? Okay. I'm good. Yep.
I want to see the cat.
Hang on one second. I'm going to show it to Anjelah, okay? Oh, yeah, that's my wife. Oh, that's Isla, but Leon's on the other side. So is that cat? Are we happy, Isla? All right, perfect. I'll see you guys in a little while. Okay. Love you.
Oh, I love that. That is special.
Bert's allergic to cats. That's why he's got that tone going on right now.
You're allergic, but you have cats?
We have this is ruining a great introduction to a great moment on a podcast. We have our cat Gus, because Leanne has to live with the cat, so we got Gus. And this other cat, Shirley, started coming by our house a lot, and we contacted its owner, and he said, "Oh no, it's just an outdoor cat. It doesn't come in our house." And so we were like, "There's coyotes here."
Yeah.
So we put in a cat door in our garage, and now it lives at our house.
Aww.
Lives in our garage, and then Isla asked for a cat to live in her bedroom, and I'm learning to be a better parent.
Oh, you're very generous.
It's a process. When you
listen, Daddy can't breathe, but sure.
Yeah, when you light up comedians and say there's no growth in them, and you say that a word they said 7 years ago, they have to stand by it today. Bullshit. As a father, I've grown more in a year and a half as a human being than you could ever fucking imagine. And you may hear the tone of my voice. I'm not there totally, but it's a work. I'm a work in progress.
I'm right there with you.
Back to the folklore. It was the videotape of your one bit that was, I mean, that was, I will say, undeniable. Everyone cried laughing. And then it was the same story. It was like, she did 10 shows in Ontario. She did 2 weeks back to back in Ontario. She had to add out shows. And when I met you, I have to share this with you, okay? This is a moment. This was a fucking moment. I met you backstage at the Ryman. You were doing a sold out show at the Ryman. And I was sitting with Ari Shaffir and Nate Bargatze. And I said to God, I'm not a picky guy. I got one bit, the machine bit. It's good. Like, I also can do stand-up. I can also fill an hour. If you're telling me right now, God, that I can come to play at this place and tell the machine story, I'll tell the machine story every fucking time. I don't give a fuck. If you want to give me the opportunity for that one bit to go viral, and then me, if that would give me this opportunity, I'll take it in a heartbeat, God. And I'm doing 3 shows at the Ryman in 2 months.
Come on.
And Anjelah, I'm being dead serious when I say, I remember distinctly watching you perform and going, and you were amazing on stage.
Thank
you had all this fucking new material, a brand new hour I hadn't seen. And then of course you accommodate the fans. And I was like, it changed. I mean, like, there's a few moments in stand-up that you get where you look at what someone's got. It's not coveting. It's me going like, it's inspirational.
Yeah.
And I will tell the Ryman 3 times. I will tell the machine 3 times at the Ryman. I have no fucking problem with that. But what was that like? That was one set at the Ice House. When did you know, oh shit, this is going viral?
Thank you. Well, let's see. I'll tell you exactly. So the whole story is I took a joke writing stand-up comedy class at a church.
No.
A free class at a church.
Are you serious?
It was Tuesday nights. It was their creative arts night. So there was like acting class, dance class, and I did joke writing, stand-up comedy. And
did you want to be a comedian?
No, I didn't want to be a comedian. I was in the acting class, and we would do improv games, and I was funny. So the woman, Lisa Alvarado, was teaching a class, and she was like, "Do you want to come take my joke writing class?"
Shut the fuck up.
And I was like, "I don't know, is it free?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I guess I'll take it then." I'm like, I do this like nail salon character. I'm sure I could make that into a joke. And she was like, "Oh, nail salon jokes are so hacky. Everybody has one. I would just steer clear of nail salon jokes." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't think they do it like me. I'll just do it anyways." And that was one of the first jokes that I wrote, was this nail salon bit in my free joke writing class at a church. It
was undeniable. I mean, I remember where I was when I watched it. I remember crying, laughing, going, "Who the fuck is this?" And they were like, "She sold out the whole weekend in Ontario." She's and what was that like going? How much money were you making at the time? At the time that went viral, what was your income looking like? I know you had been a raiderette.
Yeah. So I started as a raiderette back when I was living in San Jose. I'll take you all the way back.
Take me all the way back.
All the way back. I told you I was doing drugs. I was living this life, that life. I went to high school. I was depressed in high school. I went to like 4 different high schools because I would just kept dropping out because I was sad. I was depressed. And my senior year, I ended up graduating miraculously. I probably should not have graduated, but I had a good personality. My teachers liked me, so they just passed me is what it was.
Yeah.
And I am at this place in my life. I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I had this desire in my heart to be an actress, but I would never say it out loud because I was ashamed. Because I was like, where do you be an actress in San Jose? You don't. Like, me saying I want to be an actress seems so far-fetched. I might as well say I want to be a princess. Like, that's what it felt like.
No, yeah.
So it's shameful. So I'm like, let me tuck that away in my heart and never tell that because that's embarrassing. So let me just tuck that away. And I would just like go to the movies, be mad that I wasn't in it. And I would like watch Training Day and be like, I could totally do this. Like, if somebody just told me how to get in the movie, I could totally stand by that car. I just don't know where the car is parked. Somebody tell me where it is.
This is the same person struggling with identity as a child.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly falls right in line to be an actress.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really, honestly.
Yeah. So I am at this place and I'm like, what do I do with my life? I'm going to junior college at the time. And I have a friend of a friend who moved to LA, and she was in a Ross commercial. She was in an NSYNC music video. And so to me, that was like, oh my God, I know somebody who's famous. Like, this is crazy.
All you need, by the way, if you're listening, all you need is that one friend.
Yeah.
One friend with a couch to sleep on, one friend with an
Bruh.
idea, one friend with a manager friend
That's
they can
right.
introduce, one friend with one dinner they can take you to.
Yes.
And that is it sometimes.
I called her and she's the only person that I confided in. Hey, I want to do what you're doing. And she was like, well, if you move out here to LA, I'll help you get started and I'll help show you the ropes. So now this far-fetched fantasy was becoming more of an actual attainable dream that I could actually go after.
Yeah.
So around this same time, I had a friend that I grew up with. I ran into her and she's like, hey, I'm a cheerleader for the Oakland Raiders. You should come try out. And I was like, oh no, it's not really my style. I grew up competitive cheerleading, stunts, tumbling, like flipping in the air, like all that kind of stuff. And Raiderettes is more like pretty, show your cleavage, shake your pom-poms, like that. And dance, like technical dancing, pirouettes. I don't know any of that stuff. So I was like, oh, it's not really my jam. And then I started thinking about it. I started to pray about it. And I was like, you know what? Okay. I am going to try out for the Oakland Raiders to be a Raiderette. And if I make the squad, I'm going to take that as my sign to pursue the entertainment industry. And I will do it for 1 year and then I'll move to LA and I'll chase my dreams. But if I don't make the squad, I'm taking this as my sign that the entertainment industry is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an actress. I'm going to go be like a massage therapist or something like that because I'm real good at giving massages. So I was like, I'm going to go do that. So I drove to Oakland by myself. There's 700 girls at this audition. And I made it past the first round. Then the second round, you have to learn a dance. And I remember there's like 300 girls now. We're in this huge banquet room at like some convention center. And the choreographer is on stage with her Britney Spears microphone. And she's like doing all the counts for us, like teaching us this routine. And I have no like technical training, but I have personality and I have sass.
Yeah.
I have rhythm. I can move. I can dance, but I don't know how to exactly do what you just did. So I was working it. I'm doing all the hair flips. I'm like, let me just sell it with attitude because I have no idea what I'm doing. And choreographer like pauses the music and she gets off the stage and she like weaves her way through the crowd and she comes up to me and she's like, clearly you have no dance training, but you have something that cannot be taught.
No.
I've held on to that compliment for like 20 years. Like that is the best backhanded compliment I've ever heard in my entire life. And I was just, I heard what I needed to hear out of that. And I was like, thank you. Like she saw it, you know? Anyway, so I make the squad. And my first thought when they call my number that I had made the squad, I'm going to be one of the Oakland Raiderette cheerleaders. My thought was not, oh my God, I'm going to be a cheerleader for the Oakland Raiders. My thought was, oh my God, I'm going to be an actress. This is my sign. This is all I need.
This is the path.
So I cheered for 1 year. We went to the Super Bowl that year. It was against Tampa Bay in San Diego.
Oh my God. That's when that was?
Yes.
I just moved to LA. I was living in LA. I'd done a TV show and I know exactly what year that was. Can I just tell you what I think is so hilarious about this? You had every guy you ever dreamed of when you wanted to be the bad girl was fantasizing about you in those stands. Every guy with a rest record, a face tattoo, five kids, and they were like, God, man, if I could only get her. Little did they know, that was all your type sitting in the stands.
They missed their shot. If they would have caught me like 7 years ago, bro.
God, so then you went to the Super Bowl.
So we go to the Super Bowl. It was embarrassing. I drive home from the Super Bowl. I fly home from the Super Bowl. I immediately pack up my room. And the very next weekend after the Super Bowl, I loaded up my station wagon that my mom had handed down to me. And I drove to LA. And I started from the ground up.
You're 20, how old?
I'm 20.
Oh my God.
And I started as an extra on Friends. That was my very first job in the entertainment industry. And my friend, Sandra, who said, I'll help you get started. I'll help show you the ropes. When I got here, I had no money. She was giving me all her hand-me-down clothes, her shoes, like everything. I lived off of all of her hand-me-downs. So she tells me, okay, I'm going to have you go sign up to be an extra. But when you get there, there's going to be a line of people waiting to sign up to be an extra. I don't want you to wait in line. I want you to go up to the front window. I want you to ask for a guy named Sam. I want you to bring your Raiderette headshot and a tray of cookies. Give him the cookies and your headshot and just tell him you're new to town and you want to be an extra. That's it. And I'm like, okay, this sounds real sleazy, like all those casting couches I've heard about. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this idea. But she's like, just trust me, go do that. So I go, sure enough, she's right. Line of people waiting to sign up to be an extra. So I go in, go to the window. Excuse me, I'm here for Sam. All right, he'll be right out. This guy comes walking out from the back office wearing a Raiders hat. And I was like, hi, I'm new to town. Here's my headshot. Immediately, Raiders, no way. We had just come off the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And clearly he's a big Raider fan. So he was like, oh my God, no way. Yeah, let's get you signed up, blah, blah, whatever. Maybe like a week goes by and he calls me and is like, do you want to be an extra on Friends? And I was like, my favorite show of all time? Yeah, I do want to be an extra on
without a
Friends.
doubt.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's do that. So, did you ever do extra work when you got started?
Is this picture you, by the way? Is that?
Yeah, that's me being an extra
Nice.
on Friends in the background.
I don't know if I ever did extra work. I don't think I did.
Basically, to join the union, the SAG union.
Oh,
at
I
the
definitely
time,
didn't go about it that way.
It was
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah. Oh no, let me rephrase that. I absolutely know I did not do extra work. I was cast in a sitcom pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I never did extra work.
Okay. So to be an extra, you get a voucher to get paid,
Mhm.
or you can get a SAG voucher. And if you collect 3 SAG vouchers, then you can join the SAG union. So, and also to get a SAG voucher, you have to be in the SAG union. So it's like a whole catch-22 thing. So anyways, the guy, Sam, put me in the computer system as a SAG extra. So I immediately, in my first 3 days of extra work, I got
wow.
my vouchers so that I could join the union. So I end up making friends with the second AD on Friends. His name is Carlos Pinheiro. He's very funny. He's Latino. I'm Latina. He's funny. I'm funny. And he's like, I'm going to bring you back tomorrow because now we just make each other laugh.
Yeah.
So he brings me back tomorrow. I'm going to bring you back next week. I'm going to bring you back next week. Next thing you know, I'm an extra on Friends for season 9 and 10.
Wow.
That's how I went grocery shopping with craft service table every week. I'm like, okay, there's my groceries. Like, that's how I lived off of being an extra. And that's how I got my start. That my friend was like, I'll help you get started. So anyway, so I'm doing this. I'm an extra. And then I moved to stand-in. Then I get my first like little co-star role on a TV show. And I'm starting to progress. I'm booking commercials here and there. And it's like things are like looking up. And then as things do, start looking down. And you don't book anything anymore.
Mhm.
And then now I'm on unemployment. And now my unemployment checks have run out. So now I have no money. And so now I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, okay, I got to go home because I have no money to pay my rent, to pay my bills. I have nothing. I have no agent. I have nothing in my life saying, hey, look, you're on the right track. Everything is showing me you tried, but this wasn't for you.
Did you feel the racism in Hollywood? The inherent like, oh, you're a Latina actress. We're looking for a more of a white. Did you ever feel that at all?
I didn't feel that. It was more so just I was always the in case we go in another direction girl.
Mm-hmm.
We want it for this person, but in case we don't, let's see a couple of sassy girls.
Yeah. I was auditioning in that racist period when they were just booking white people and still never got anything. I mean, I couldn't even use my privilege to my benefit. They were only looking at white guys to be in sitcoms, and I was like fucking failing left and right. I never booked. I booked things on development deals. I never booked anything off an audition. I take that back. I booked The Shield off an audition.
I booked The Shield.
For real?
Oh my God, let's tell that story.
Sweet.
Okay, wait. I want to finish this story, but let me tell The Shield. Should I tell the Shield
pull us
story?
up on secret on who we played on The Shield.
Okay. So, wait, let me finish.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do I finish or do I tell a Shield story?
No, I don't know.
This story is the one I'm going to finish is a long one.
Tell me the Shield story.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you my Shield story, and then we'll go back. Because I want to talk about being broke, being low.
Yeah.
I love those moments.
Yeah.
And then skyrocketing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what. I'm setting that one up. Okay. So.
By the way, I feel skinny right now, and I know I'm not, but I feel skinny. Like I feel like a skinny person would feel sitting in a chair, and I know I don't look like that, but I want you to know. Just if you don't see that, take your glasses off and watch this. Yeah.
Blink a couple more times.
Yeah.
I had a fake resume.
Okay.
All lies on my resume. Because one, you have to have a resume to get an audition. But if you don't have credits to put on a resume, what do you do? So I lied. I just put a whole bunch of lies on my resume. And then I
type in casting director of The Shield too. Keep going.
I go to I get an audition. My fake resume gets me a real audition for The Shield. And I'm standing there in front of the casting director and she's reading my resume and she's like, wow, you were on CSI Miami? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, that's funny because I cast that show. I don't remember you. And
you're like,
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I go, huh.
That's so funny. I don't remember you either. That's crazy.
It's weird. That's weird. So she let me audition anyway. And that's the role that I book. So this is like, at this point, this is my first co-star role that I actually auditioned for that I booked. I'm playing a homeless teenager trying to bum a cigarette off a detective. Yeah. So I'm full on like, I'm about to win an Oscar for this. Like, this is about to be my moment. Like, let's go. I have about 4 lines to say, but I thought I was about to win every award. And so the day the episode aired, I had a premiere party at my house because of course.
Yeah.
And all my friends are there. And I know that my scene is the very last scene of the episode. I was aware of that because I think it's saved the best for last is how it works in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I've heard. So, anyways, we're all sitting there with my friends. We're watching the show. And then I can see the part like there I am right there. And then here comes a detective. And so I'm telling my friends like, okay, here's my part, you guys. Here's my part. And then next thing you know, the 10 o'clock news comes up on the little corner and the credits start rolling. And they cut my part.
They cut you out entirely?
They cut my part.
And you're like, here I come, here I come. And then
it was like, police chase in Van Nuys goes awry and ends in death. And I'm like, wait, how are you going to hear my lines if they're already telling you the 10 o'clock news? I don't understand how this works.
Oh my
Yeah, they cut my part.
Well, I wish they'd cut my part.
Oh my God.
So hold on, hit pause. So hit pause. So I get told, I'll let you watch my part and then I'll let you watch my scene.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you what happened, which was a nightmare.
Okay.
What the hell is up with that guy?
Doesn't look like he's bird watching.
Hang on, pal. What's up? You want to tell me what you're doing back here?
Oh, just now?
Check the occupant. Turn around. Hands behind your back.
Oh, I have permission.
Hands behind your back.
Sorry to bother you, sir. We just apprehended a man looking through your window.
Yo, girl. It's all good. Dude with her.
What's wrong?
Honey, tell them to take these off of me.
Do you know this man? Married to him long enough? He's your husband.
I told you. Look, no one's breaking the law here, officer. We're just...
Playing.
Right. Role-playing? On the way to work?
With our friend.
All right, you can hit pause. So, I was playing a cuck. I didn't even have to read for it. I walked in the room and they're like, that's our guy.
Really?
Google the term cuck if you need to. Cuck is a man who watches other men fuck his wife.
Oh.
And I walked in, they're like, oh, that's him. And I was like, do you need me to read? And they're like, nope, you got it. And I went, oh, fucking cool. I was like, what's the, because I thought I just got arrested. I didn't say the whole scene. And I was like, I just played a DWTP officer. I get arrested. They're like, yeah, you'll get the sides. And I get there and I'm like, wait, I'm so confused. My wife's in there and who's she fucking? And then I go, she's fucking this big black guy? I go, and then I'm the guy that and I was like, I didn't even have to read for this. I just look like a guy who would pay a big black guy to fuck my wife. And I was like, motherfucker. So we do the day, and I want to be good, right? So hey, find out who, I don't know if you're ever going to find out who played that part, and don't light her up. I don't want to get her upset, but they pull up in the car. You saw that scene where I'm looking in the window, and I'm playing with myself. I'm touching my junk, and the female actress goes, "Wait, stop! What is he doing?" Like, I don't know if she had read the whole script or not. And they were like, "Cut!" And the director came up and he's like, "Was there a problem?" She's like, "He's touching himself. He's masturbating." And I was like, "Did I read this fucking script wrong?" And I was like, "I thought that," they were like, yeah, okay. She's like, well, this is like, be professional, and or something to that effect. And I was like, all right. So they pull her off to first position, and the director pulls me aside. He's like, don't worry about her. He was like, listen, I like your choice. Michael Chiklis was with him, and he was like, I like your choice. He's like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shoot some B-roll of you doing that, and then when we call action, don't do it again, so that we don't bother her. Just play it like you didn't touch yourself. But we're gonna do some shots of you playing with yourself. Is that cool? And I was like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, good. They applaud my decision. My choice as an actor.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, action. Let's see it. And so I'm in the window and I'm like playing with myself, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is pretty long. Like, how long are they gonna? And then I'm like, are they just sitting behind the camera going, let's see if he has an orgasm? Let's just see how long he goes. And so then they cut it. They bring her in. I think they use a B-roll clip of me touching myself or something. And then we shot the rest of the scene. And that woman did not like me. She did not like me. She did not like me.
What a turd.
You know what?
Be professional. I am, ma'am. I'm an actor.
I was like, what do you do when you see like I was like, whatever. I don't. That was my first like legit booked an acting role, and I'm sure she's fucking doing fine now. But like I remember being made super uncomfortable on the set.
I'm sorry.
And the other thing that happened was, well, no, I don't want to call her out because that's like I'm not call out culture. So like, but everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm sure right now she would be like, hey, first of all, maybe my hand was in my pants. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Like, but she did not like me. She definitely didn't like me because we were pregnant at the time, and I knew we were having a girl, and she was like, I made a joke about having a girl, and she got really offended by that.
Oh my gosh, she just didn't want nothing.
She wouldn't remember me. She wouldn't remember me for anything. But
or she can't stop thinking about you.
By the way, I'll just put her in something. I'll put her in something now.
Yeah. Can you put me in something?
Please. Please. I'll talk to you off air.
Okay.
But yeah, 100%. But so go back to the
story,
perfect.
the taking out. Okay, so at this point in my life, on unemployment, my unemployment checks had run out. It's time to go home. Everything in my life is like, you tried, but this wasn't for you. Let's go home. The only reason why I stayed was for two reasons. One, my sister was sending me money to pay my rent, and she would send me gift certificates to the grocery store so that I could get food to eat. And she was like my biggest cheerleader. She was like,
older
don't give
younger?
up. Older, 3 years older than me. But she's like, don't you give up. Just keep trying. So it was her, as well as I had this feeling in my spirit, in my gut, that was like God was telling me, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Just, I know things look bad, but hold on, because I'm not done yet. Right. So this is 2007. Right. I have nothing going on. I had took the class in 2006.
I have to do this. I have to figure out where I was at 2007.
Okay.
Isla was 1 year old. We were living in, that makes sense. Of course that would track. Yeah. So
2006 is when I took the class. It's also when I filmed that set at the Ice House that ended up going viral
2006?
later. It was 2006. So
thank you.
I did 2006, a set at the Ice House, and it was, hey, there's this company. This is when flip phones were happening. There's this company that they're going to record you, and they're going to upload it to Verizon Wireless, and people can download comedy clips for $1.99, and they can watch comedy clips on Verizon, and they'll pay you $25. So I signed this little paper. They gave me my $25. I was like, thank you. I need some groceries because I'm poor. And I did my set and then went home. And that was that. Well, next thing you know, this brand new thing called YouTube comes out. So they're like, oh, we're not going to upload it to Verizon anymore. We're going to put it on this new thing called YouTube. Right?
I was at the Tampa Improv when I heard that pitch. I wonder if we heard it from the same guy. But like I was at the Tampa Improv when I don't remember who said it. It was another comic, and he was like, hey man, have you heard about this Verizon thing where they'll give you money to put their clips on their phones? And I was like, you're telling me one day people are going to watch comedy on their phone? And I was like, I think I'm going to pass, buddy. I'm going to wait until I get a special.
That's what?
Good luck.
The interweb.
Yeah. And so you did it. It goes on.
So yeah. So they didn't end up putting it on Verizon. They were going to put on a new thing called YouTube, but I don't know about that yet. I just walk away from the Ice House and I don't even think about that anymore. I got my $25. That's all I needed. So now cut to 2007. Nothing going on. No money. no opportunities. And so I turned this time into, I was calling it my downtime because I had nothing in my life happening. And I was like, let me turn this into my like pursuing God time. And let me like do my journaling, my praying, my reading, and like really get close to God in this time, because that's all I have is God right now. So during this time, this is January 2007, all of a sudden, the brand new thing called YouTube happens. And I start getting phone calls from like family members. Like I remember my cousin, Christy, she worked for some computer company, and she called me and was like, hey, there's an email going around my whole work, and it's a video of you. And I was like, girl, what video? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, it's you doing your stand-up comedy about the nail salon. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I filmed that last year. They were going to put it on Verizon, but I guess they put it on YouTube. Oh, okay. Started getting phone calls like that from people. Next thing you know, this is MySpace days. I check my MySpace, and my MySpace page is blown up. Just thousands and thousands of messages, friend requests from all over the world. Hey, when are you coming to perform in Australia, the Philippines, New Zealand, Ohio,
No
Atlanta?
agent, no manager at the time, right?
Nothing. So it's like nobody knew how to get a hold of me. So I was getting messages from network executive assistants. Hey, I'm the assistant to so-and-so at CBS. I'm the assistant to so-and-so at Fox, ABC, this production company, that production company. I'm the assistant to so-and-so. They would like to meet with you. I'm getting these messages on MySpace because that's how people could find me.
Oh, no, there's a fear. There's a fear that you're the guy that invented Coke and then sells the recipe for $25. You know, like there's a fear that I'm getting a panic. I know it turns out okay, but I'm getting a panic for you for not having representation, not getting these offers, not getting the opportunities that are about to be presented. Was that panic in you? Like
the panic in me was more, I was overwhelmed because I was getting all these messages and I had appointments now to go meet with these people. And I didn't even own a calendar at the time. So I had to go to Staples and like buy a calendar to like make appointments, because I'm like, oh, I have to go meet NBC this day. Then I have to go to Fox this day. And I remember going to these meetings and there being like, you know, like pastries and whatever, like have whatever you want. And I'm like, wait, I can eat these? And just being like, who do I think I am? Like this little Mexican girl, like what business do I have being in this waiting room at NBC with this suit? Being like, yeah, we saw your video. It's funny. Here's this script. Can you, we're casting this pilot. Can you read this part? I don't know anything about cold reading or saying like, oh, can I have some time to coach on it and then come back and read for you? I'm just like, oh, okay, sure. Not knowing anything and just like trying to read them because I'm like, well, I don't know what to do in these situations. So I end up getting a meeting everywhere. I end up getting an agent.
Who?
I got TJ Mark Walter.
He's the motherfucker. That guy. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna take 2 seconds to celebrate TJ Mark Walter. That guy has a fucking eye. If you love a comic, he has represented him. He has an eye.
I love TJ so much.
I sat next to him on a plane one time, and I was drunk, and I had a great. He's the sweetest guy. He's the greatest guy. And God damn it, he's good. Keep going. I'm sorry. I just want to celebrate good people in Hollywood. Never fuck people over. Never fucking great name in Hollywood. The only thing you can say about him that's a slide is he's not a snake in the grass.
And you know what's funny is I remember hearing from club owners, like they would tell me, oh, I love working with TJ. Like he's not a shark like all these other guys. He's not this and that. And I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that my agent like is like the nice one. And then I was like, wait.
Yeah.
So am I not getting paid enough? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I think that's an old reputation on TJ these days. But like that was the old reputation is like he's so easy to work with. And you're like, was that good or bad?
But he was great. He took me on when I had 12 minutes of material. So keep in mind at this time when all these networks want to meet with me, and everybody's like, when are you coming to perform in Australia? I have 12 minutes of stand-up comedy material that I wrote in a free class at a church. So when TJ took me on, I'm not a headliner. I'm not even a feature. I have 12 minutes of material, and he's now representing me and getting me gigs at comedy clubs. And the way it started was I had to grow my material. So we would put like 8 comics up in front of me. I would be the ticket, the name on the ticket. and then 8 comics would go up, and I would just close the show.
And would you get the lion's share of the money?
Yes, but it wasn't a lot at the time.
Yeah.
But then, and I was doing like different deals, and I got taken advantage of a lot, just like things that I didn't know before. I had a road manager. I remember one of the managers at the San Jose Improv. He's not there anymore. He doesn't even work for the Improvs anymore.
I know who he is, though.
Older military guy.
Nope, I don't know who it is, though.
Okay, long time ago.
Yeah.
God, what is his name? Anyway, I was real cool with him. I really enjoyed him. And I remember one time Joe Coy was there performing, and I came to visit and was saying hi, and we were joking. I think that morning Joe had like I think like his machine that he sleeps with wasn't working, so he didn't wake up for his press, or like something happened.
Wait, Joe Coy's been an old man for 20 years. Joe Coy is, first of all, you know why? It's because every fucking Filipino's a nurse, and someone pulled him aside and said, sleep apnea is bad, you need to fix this. But he's been on that sleep machine for fucking 20 goddamn years. I need to do that fucking sleep machine.
Maybe you should. That should be your next machine joke, is the sleep machine. But it's something like he missed his press or something. I don't know what happened. I was just there visiting him at his show, and we made a joke about him. It was me, Joe, and the manager was standing right there, and we made a joke about him missing his press.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that manager went back to his agents, Joe's agents or something, and said, Anjelah Johnson told me that Joe Coy, like he was out like partying, or like made up some lie that I said. And then I remember Joe calling me and being like, did you tell the manager at the Improv that I missed my press because of this? And I was like, what? No. Like, and I was reminded, I'm like, do you remember when we were walking out and we all made that joke about you missing press? That's the only time I ever talked about it, when we all said that joke. So if he ran with that, anyway, so he was a little bit shady, that guy, and he was so nice to me. But I remember
they all were.
It came. Then. I had a bonus deal at the time, right?
Oh, okay. Can we do numbers? I want to know what your bonus was.
So it was. I mean, at a sellout, you get like an extra couple $1,000s or something like that, right?
Yeah. Okay, my bonuses were. I love sharing numbers. My best, like my deal that I remember the most was, I think it was 2,000 guaranteed, maybe 3,000 guaranteed, and $1,000 bonus at sellout paid or comped, because I could comp out I could paper a room very easily.
Okay,
if I did press, I could get them to paper a room. And it was, but it was early Friday and Saturday didn't count. It was late Friday, late Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday. And so like I remember if I walked out with like $6,000, I murdered that weekend. And that's when I was like, I can do this for a living and send children to college. I can get us a house one day.
Yeah.
But keep going. I'm sorry.
I don't remember what exactly my deals
because
were.
you didn't languish in it. You just went.
Yes.
Like I lived in that for fucking, I mean. Do you ever stop and take a look around at your life and think about how many things you're paying for on a daily basis? Just like a look at your house and your car and your phones and your kids and your meals, and then think about your future. And when you do that, life insurance makes total sense, especially when it's term coverage, which is surprisingly affordable. Why not pay a little each month to protect the ones you love? If you're asking yourself this question right now, choose Ladder. Ladder is 100% digital, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, you just need a few minutes, a phone, a laptop, either of them will work, and that's how you apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you will find out instantly if you're approved. If you prefer to talk to a person, their team of licensed agents does not work on commission, so they can help you and not upsell you. That's so fucking great. No hidden fees, cancel at any time. Get a full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. And Ladder's policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They are rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross this off your list. So go to ladderlife.com/Bert today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/Bert. Ladderlife.com/Bert. Today's show is brought to you by not only Huel, but a hilarious story. My favorite nutritionally complete food. Every Huel meal contains the 27 essential vitamins and minerals, protein, healthy fats, and fiber I need in a single meal. And right now, we have their mac and cheese. Leanne had it the other day and was like, oh my God, I just had this little Huel thing and I haven't had to eat like all day. I said, yeah, it's a fucking meal. She goes, what? I told her, I said, it's one of my favorite ones. Huel's mac and cheese has all the nutrients your body needs, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, and is only 400 calories. But 400 calories to Leanne Kreischer is a straight up meal. The woman didn't eat half the day and was like, I'm just going to have Huel. I told her, I said, you're getting more protein than 4 eggs, all the vitamin C that an orange has, and more calcium than yogurt, more potassium than a banana, and in one bowl of Huel mac and cheese, that's everything. It only takes 5 minutes to make for your lunch. All you got to do is just add hot water, and you can make it in the free on-the-go pot that you get in your first order. You can take it wherever. It's just like they've made this super healthy fast food. Everyone needs Huel. Mac and cheese is what you need in your life right now, especially if you're super busy and you're a mac and cheese lover like myself. So delicious and creamy, you will not be able to tell that it's plant-based. Huel has a whole range of these meals that are perfectly balanced with all the nutrients your body needs. They've got a bunch of flavors, like they got Mexican chili, the Thai green curry, and again, all nutritionally complete and made in 5 minutes or less. I love how easy it is, and it just fits into my routine, especially when I have a busy day like today, and I've got podcast, interview, then drive to ADR, come home. I don't have time to, and then you look at the fridge, you're like, what the fuck do I eat? Boom, one Huel, you got everything taken care of. You got to try it. I'm partnering with Huel to give all my listeners a free t-shirt, a free on-the-go pot, and free shipping on their first order. Go to Huel.com/Bert to take advantage of this offer. Supporting my sponsors helps me make this show for you. So show Huel some love. Claim your free t-shirt, get your free on-the-go pot, and free shipping on your first order at Huel.com/Bert. That's HUEL.com/Bert.
I was doing the San Jose Improv. It seats 450 people, and I was on a
It's
deal.
a good payday.
Where
those days.
At 450, you sell out, you get your couple $1,000 bonus, whatever, right? So I remember closing out with a manager, and he was like, you were at 446. So close. And me, naive, I go, oh, man, so close. Let's go to the next show. 442, so close. Dang it, man, I almost got my bonuses this weekend, right? I remember telling that story, like right after it happened, maybe like, I don't know, within the year or something, I ran into Fluffy, and I was telling him the story. And he goes, so why didn't you buy your 7 tickets? And I go, what? And he goes, if your 7 tickets are going to cost you a couple $100 to get your couple $1,000 bonus, why didn't you just buy those 7 tickets? And I was like, I didn't know I could do that. The fact that he didn't tell me, like this manager wouldn't just, so then cut to a different improv at the time. It was Ontario Improv. I forget the manager's name at the time.
I know what it is.
But he goes, same kind of thing. You're at 438, but I'm gonna give you your bonus anyway. I'm gonna give you your bonus every show. I'm gonna give you your bonus anyway. You're so close. I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, I want you to come back and play my club.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's how this works. What an asshole. This guy, because I had 4 tickets shy, he wouldn't give me my bonus. He knew what he was doing. Like,
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, this is the rub I always got. I wouldn't be shocked if he wrote down on paper he gave you your bonus and took it for himself.
oh my God. I didn't even think about that until right now. Oh my
That
God.
really happens.
2009. Let's go back and check. I don't even know what year it was.
There was this shady part of that where you had to have someone with you to do head counts.
Oh, then of course I wise up after
and,
that.
And then you get good. Now, here's the thing is you get great club managers who, I remember a guy named Doc who ran the Dayton Funny Bone, and he pulled me aside and he said, good show tonight. And I said, sold out? And he goes, no. And I go, it looks sold out. And he goes, let me explain to you what sold out is. Sold out is every seat taken. Every seat taken. And I was like, okay. And he goes, see, there's people sitting forwards? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you see anyone sitting backwards? I was like, no. And he goes, they have to be sitting backwards also for it to sell out.
Oh my
And I
God.
went, oh. And he was like, go through. And he goes, if you ever walk on stage and you see a seat that is empty, that's not a sellout. And I went, okay. And so I'd go and I'd see, like, if I saw a cluster of 8 tables free, I would fucking be livid. Because I'd be like, God damn it. But a lot of what they were people bought the tickets.
And didn't show up.
They'd oversell the room. The room. And so I never really, once you start, that bonus structure is horseshit.
Yeah,
Once you get to a percentage deal.
Then game over. But back to that manager who was a jerk to me. My last time working with him, I remember I did the San Jose Improv. We sold out 8 shows. The whole weekend was like fire. And then the very next week, I did Pittsburgh Improv, where I sold 17 tickets. Listen, I'm not hot everywhere. Not everybody loves me.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. I went from 8 sold out shows at the Improv Theater in San Jose, 450 seats, to 17 tickets in Pittsburgh. And I was like, oh, rude awakening. Okay, stay humble, girl. And I remember getting there and doing my sound check. And I'm me wherever I go. I don't yell at people. I don't diva nothing. I'm just me everywhere. And after we do our sound check and everything, we're in the green room. Can we get you anything? No, I'm good. Thank you so much. Then the waitress goes, wow, you're nothing like the email San Jose sent over. And I go, I'm sorry? Can you forward me that email, please? And then later on, she realized she effed up. And she was like, they deleted it. They don't have it.
Yeah. I had one of those emails sent. Toledo. They pulled me. I've told the story on this podcast recently. They pulled me aside at the end of the night. And they're like, hey, well, you want to come to Bar Louie and have a drink? The owner, Jeff, and the bar manager at the time. I can't remember her name. I think it was Colleen. And they said, do you want to come over and have a drink over at Bar Louie? And I said, yeah. And I sat down. They're like, man, you're nothing like the email, what's his name, sent. And I went, what? And they go, like, we got the email about how bad it is to work with you, that you shit on walls and you throw up on walls and you'll shit on the couch. You didn't do any of that. And I was like, who sent that email? And they told me, and I went, all right. And so I was like, hey, we need to have a fucking conversation with the Funny Bone Collective, and that needs to be rectified. And then that guy was like, I never sent that email. I was like, okay.
Okay.
But I like the guy. I like the guy enough, and I can see him sending the email. It didn't affect my career. It didn't affect anything, and it became a funny story because Segura thought it was the funniest thing he's ever heard in his fucking life. He's like, they sent an email that you shit on beds and throw up on walls, and I was like, I guess I don't fucking know.
Oh
so,
my God.
but yeah, that it's funny. I was thinking when you're telling this, there's a side of us always wants to. There's a thing that happens when you have a little bit of success, where you want to I don't know the right word, but you want to tell everyone what you thought of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so not beneficial, because even in all those fucked up things, I think fondly, very fondly, of all my experiences at all the clubs. Like, even when shit went wild and they thought I threw up on the wall and shit on the mattress at the Cincinnati Funny Bone and sent the email to Toledo. I had a great weekend in Toledo, and I laugh hysterically thinking back of the people that worked at Toledo. And I remember doing radio in Toledo and them saying, you did great radio, and I sold out all the shows in Toledo. And I remember I look back, I don't have any negative views of and I'm not talking about, I have no negative views when I was selling tickets, but when I wasn't selling tickets, I have no negative views. I look back so fondly at all those relationships, even the ones where you're like, how did I not hit my fucking bonus? You know, because it's so interesting. But so then I want to know, where did you, because I always thought it was a skyrocket, but it sounds like you were doing the work.
Yeah. So
you had to build the hour.
I had to build my hour. So then next, it's not 8 comics. Now it's just 4 comics. Okay. Now it's just 2 comics. I don't even remember.
Okay. Keep going.
And so I remember I only before I was doing those shows on my own, I had feature gigs. I've only featured 3 times in my whole career.
All right, let me try to guess.
One of them you'll never guess.
Okay.
80s comic. Guess.
Paul Rodriguez?
No. White.
White. Craig Shoemaker.
Tom Rhodes.
No. Are you serious? What an interesting guy to feature for, too. He's such a different talent.
He was my first feature.
He's such a fucking interesting talent because he approaches stand-up from such a different way, like such his own. Keep going. I'm so sorry.
No.
But yeah. I love Tom Rhodes. I think I would love to have featured for him.
I would love to have a conversation with him today. I was so brand new. It's my first time. I don't know how to feature.
Let's call him.
No way.
Yeah, of course. I wonder if he's
Do you think
answer.
he'll remember me?
Hey, Steve. Hey, Pete, do you have my burner phone?
You have a burner phone?
You
See, you're a whole different level.
Burner phones. I got my number got leaked, and it was really a negative experience.
Oh.
When you talk about all this self growth I'm doing, it's all because of I had to go through that, and it was fucking. Is that my burner? I'll try him on this number.
Do I have what number do I have yours? Is that your burner? Did you give me
No,
your fake number?
You have my real number.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Are we friends or not? Hold on.
I can't see anything anymore. Hey, it's Bert. I hate to say this. Tom's gonna go. Yeah, man, I was drinking back then. I don't really remember that weekend.
He
guarantee
was sober.
You. When was this? It wasn't that. No, he was drinking.
2007, 2008. Let's see. I started
That's when he
2007,
got-
so it'd be 2007, 2008.
He's also never in the fucking country.
What is he doing?
He travels the world. Travels the world, reads.
Hello?
Tom, it's Bert.
Kreischer?
Yeah, of course.
My brother. Oh my God, dude, how are you?
I'm great. I'm sitting on my podcast and I'm sitting with Anjelah Johnson. And she said the first person she ever featured for, you're on the podcast, by the way. He said the first person she ever featured for was Tom Rhodes. And I said, I was going, how lucky she is. I would love to have worked with you to watch your brain work. She goes, I wonder if he even remembers that weekend. So I'm sitting here with Anjelah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that weekend?
I absolutely love Anjelah. And of course I remember. It was at Cobb's in San Francisco.
Yep.
And she destroyed the place. And she had only had, she didn't quite have 45 minutes, or she could have headlined it herself, was why I was headlining. But it was all basically her audience.
Really?
The place was like, I mean, and Cobb's holds like 500-600.
Yeah.
And I've never seen her before. She's hilarious. She's lovable. And Christian, I like that too. And, we hit it off all weekend. It was great. And, no, I absolutely love Anjelah. I smile whenever I see her photo at the Improvs because I remember that moment.
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to say hi. Can I say
Yeah,
hi?
hang on. She's going to take my phone.
It's me, Anjelah. Hi, Tom.
Here, talk by the mic.
I'm so well. Listen, I think so fondly of you. It warms my heart to hear you say those words about me in that weekend. And I just remember that weekend, and I did press with you, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was my first time doing press. It was my first time featuring. And I just remember you being so kind and generous with me. And I am so grateful for that weekend. I'm so grateful to be saying this to you right now on the phone. And I hope you're well.
You know what? Because that was really a special weekend for me also. So, I'm so happy that you remember it that way. Because, I remember, just trying to give you advice for that next level. And I remember we got together and had lunch shortly after that.
Yeah.
But I knew you'd be making that jump to, fire-breathing dragon headliner. And you did,
thank you.
Just in a matter of months. So I adore you, and you made my day by telling me that was significant for you.
Thank you. I hope you're well.
Yes.
I'll hand the phone back to Bert. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I miss you, buddy. Let's podcast.
I would love to, buddy. I'm in LA. Let's do it whenever you can.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to hit you up, okay? This is my new number, by the way.
Okay, I love you, Bert.
Love you too, brother. Bye.
I just got so hot right now, sweaty a little bit, because I feel like my emotions got brought up, and it was just remembering, when you first start, and I was just talking with Whitney Cummings about this, actually, like me projecting on to other people, getting back to like my rise and stuff like that. But I would project onto other people that they didn't like me because I blew up so fast.
Oh, that's so
And
funny.
for some, I'm sure that was true.
I'm certain there probably were people that thought that.
Yes.
All I thought, I remember seeing that video and thinking two things. Number one, I remember Leanne will not remember this, but she walked by behind me. Our desk used to be up against, it was north facing. It's also where I watched the Kyle Cease video of Comedy Boot Camp. It's also where I watched a lot of things that was a very interesting year. And I remember Leanne walked by and goes, "Who's she? She's adorable." And I remember number one thinking, this woman is a fucking knockout. Like you still are, obviously, but I remember going like, she's the fucking hottest chick doing comedy right now. And I was like, well, we'll see how this goes, right? Click it. And I remember crying, laughing, going, I don't have any bits like that. Like, I don't have any bit that good. And then the word comes around, she's only been doing it like 6 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And I remember thinking distinctly, everyone should be so lucky. Every comic should be so lucky to get one of those. I mean, for Foxworthy, it was, your redneck if. For Jeff Engvall, it was, here's your sign. Everyone had a distinct bit, a memorable bit that would get people into the room. And if you could get people into the room, then you could do your hour. And I was like, man, give me one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have one bit. And I remember at the time I was like, it'll be the joke about me putting a carrot up my wife's ass. When did I fucking think that joke was going to go? But I remember I didn't have any, I didn't know anyone that had any negative feelings about your success. It was more like wonderment of like how do you do that? Like that's but I also don't hang out with jealous negative motherfuckers.
Yeah. So I definitely projected that onto everybody, and I had a different experience featuring for someone very opposite of when I featured for Tom.
Of the three?
Yeah. 2007, this video comes out on YouTube and has 4 million views in the first month. And this is going viral before that's an actual term that people were using, going viral.
Yeah.
So it was like, what's happening? I'm getting all these messages on MySpace. When are you coming to Australia? When are you coming here, there? All these networks. We want to meet with you. I'm doing all these auditions that I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm getting overwhelmed. I have thousands of messages. I don't know how to be famous at this point. So I have messages from people and I'm trying to reply to everyone. Oh my God, thank you so much for the support. But it's taking me hours and hours and hours. I don't know that you don't have to reply to everyone. Yeah. I don't know how to be famous. So I'm sitting there for hours doing, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the support. Just fully overwhelmed. And then I remember having a conversation with my sister. And I was like, okay, this is either like a little phase that I'm going through, or this is the beginning of the rest of my life. And that's exactly what it was. Everything shifted after that. 2007 was the year that changed my life. I went from having no money in my bank account, unemployment checks had run out, no agent, no manager, to by the end of the year, I had written a full hour of stand-up comedy. I was on Mad TV. Yeah. I was touring the country as a headlining comedian, and I was no longer in debt, all within 1 year in 2007. And then it just started snowballing after that. And then it was Alvin and the Chipmunks. Then it was our family wedding. Then it was, I got my first hour special for Comedy Central. I had only been doing stand-up for 4 years when I got my hour special, and we filmed it in Houston. And it just started snowballing after that. And it was, I did the work and I showed up, but I would never go to hang out at the Comedy Store or at the Improv because I had anxiety and I thought people didn't like me. So I was like, let me not go. So anytime I would get like a Wednesday night, I'm going to do the 8:30 show or whatever, I had so much anxiety for like 3 days leading up to it because I was trying to challenge myself to just go hang out at the Improv, go hang out at the Comedy Store, whatever it is. And I would just project my insecurities onto everyone.
That's what we all do.
And I just wrote my material on the road, and I'm working on my 6th hour right now. And it started from a free joke writing class at a church where I never intended to be a stand-up comedian. I never intended for this to be my life. I thought I was going to play a rape victim on Law and Order SVU. Like that was my dream.
That's my dream is to get raped on SVU.
And then here I am telling jokes. So
hey, can you get Andrew or someone to meet Zane? Grab my phone, Halston, and meet Zane. But I don't want to finish this conversation yet. One of my buddies is going to stop by to talk business at 5. But hey, here's my phone. Here's my phone. If he texts, so that's an insane. It's an insane journey. Everyone's journey is unique, right? In this business, we all get our own unique journey, and everyone envies everyone else's.
Sure.
You know, people may look at Rogan and go, I envy him starting his own thing and then becoming the biggest media company by himself in the world. But that's not what his intent was.
Right.
And if you look at what his intent might have been at the beginning, it definitely wasn't. I don't think he ever saw this coming. Or like, God, man, I'd love to have Jim Jeffries' career. Well, a lot of people don't know. One of the things that Pop Jim, is he got punched in the head at the Comedy Store in London, and it went viral on MySpace. And that was what like got America eyes on Jim. And then Opie and Anthony had him on. And by the way, Jim is a fucking genius. And he's got a huge body of work that he already had like hour specials online from like doing Edinburgh that were amazing and off the top of his fucking head. I'm sure it wasn't off the top of his head, but if you watch him, you think. But it's so interesting to see the different paths we take. And I always thought me and you had a very similar path. Now that I know that we did not, but because of my machine story going viral.
Yeah.
And then that was the thing that brought people to the shows.
Yeah.
And it was what I thought when I was at the Ryman. I was like, we'd all be lucky enough to have one bit to bring them here. And then one bit to get you here. And then let me tell you the other stuff. And then you're going to like my other stuff. Like I'm also the guy that created the machine.
Right.
But I also create
yes,
plenty of hours. Like,
yes.
So
that nail salon joke, I had no idea it was going to do what it did.
It was so good.
It was something. I grew up in San Jose. It's a huge Vietnamese population in San Jose. I'm very good at accents. One of my best friends are Vietnamese. They would teach me how to say things, like all the things. And I had no idea it was going to do what it did. And I am so grateful for that joke. And I remember going through a season of my life in my career where I would hear people say, oh, she just has that one joke. That's just it. She just has that one joke. Oh, yeah. If she didn't have that joke, though, all that. I was starting to hear those murmurs, right? Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that joke anymore.
Oh,
I'm just going to.
Those haters all say that.
I know.
You all you do is get drunk and tell that fucking one story on stage. That's all you are. That's why I'm not a fan. First of all, you're not a fan. Don't speak to me. Like, okay. don't. If you're already shitting on me, if that's how we're entering the conversation, it's like my friend that comes and drops his negative mood on me.
Right.
You're not a fan. You just are looking for someone to shit on.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was starting to hear those murmurs. She's just that one joke. That's all she's got. So I was like, oh, I'll prove myself to everybody. I am more than this joke. I'm not going to do it. And I remember the first time I didn't do that joke. It was in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club on one of my own weekends. And I felt bad not doing the joke, but I was challenging myself. And later on, I went and I checked my Facebook messages, and I got a message from a girl that was like, hey, my mom and I drove a few hours to come and see you tonight because we loved that nail salon joke. And we really just bonded over that joke. And we were so excited to see you do it. And you didn't do it. And it was so disappointing. It was a great show still, but we were just so disappointed you didn't do it. Yep. And I was like, you know what? I am so mad that I was listening to the wrong people. I was listening to the people who don't care about me, the people who are not buying tickets to my show, the people who do not support me, the people who do not like my photo, support me, share my content. I was listening to the wrong people. Instead, I should be listening to the people who adore me, who are fans of me, who are paying money, their hard-earned money that they've been saving for who knows how long. Like, I don't know what their budget is, but maybe they're like, man, we can either do this or do this. We're going to go see Anjelah. And then I'm like thinking about somebody else who doesn't care about me instead of them. Like,
doesn't
how
buy
awful
tickets
is
to your
that?
show. And if that person knew that comment affected your show and that it let down people in your show, they would literally go, oh, fucking seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they don't give a fuck.
No.
I don't leave negative comments. I gave a guy a negative reply today. He was like, It wasn't negative. He said, "Hey man, you something," and I replied back, and then I deleted it, and I was like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I think he thinks that I probably like have the thickest skin in the world, and I don't. That's why I'm not on Twitter. And today I kept wanting to go on my phone because I'm doing a lot of press today, and that's how you get. And I just put my phone down and I said, I'm going to do deadlifts today. Like I don't ever really do deadlifts, and I like doing deadlifts. I really enjoy them. And for 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, I did deadlifts, and I listened to Wu-Tang Clan. I listened to Method Man to Cal. And I was like, and then my day started, and I got my polar plunge, and then I took a shower, and then I did some press, and then I got my car, and I just haven't been on my phone today, and it felt so fucking good. Now, don't get me wrong, I draw a lot of enjoyment out of my phone, but to disconnect and to live in the realness. And I've had, by the way, I've had like my best friends tell me, who are the most respected comics in the business, you shouldn't tell that machine story. And I go, okay, cool. You do you, I'll do me, bro. Like I'm not going to listen to you because you're not at my shows. And then Tom, I don't think he gave a fuck one way or the other. If I told the story, I think Tom definitely, you could not get Tom to tell the same story twice. He was with me at a show. Ari Shafir was with me at a show. Ari was someone who's like, Ari, you don't tell that story. Don't tell that story. That's so stupid. It's so stupid. You've already told it. You've told it once. It's on your special. You're done. You're done. That's how it works. And I was like, okay, that's your opinion. We went to a show in, was it Calgary? And we were just doing a storytelling show, and I told a story, and they started chanting the machine. And I said, no, I think I'm done. Ari, come back. And Ari's like, I think you got to tell it. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I was wrong. You're right. You got to tell it. I mean, look at this. This is fucking crazy. I've never seen this before. So someone's experience.
They haven't experienced.
Yeah, because you haven't experienced what I've experienced, and I'm working off experience. Is that this? When I saw you at the Ryman, I sat with Nate and Ari, and all three of us, and they can say whatever they want. All three of us were like, I hope she tells the nail salon bit, because we all wanted to see it. I saw Ron White at the store one time. I was like, God damn it, I wonder if he'll tell Tater. So I love that story. I love that story. And I remember going to see Dane Cook, going like, do you think he'll do the fucking he had this bit about workout, like it was a stupid bit that he probably never put in a special, but I liked it. And so listen, I don't want to go to see a stand-up special and watch you recite your hour that I've already seen online. And I don't want to go see you twice in the same year if you're doing the same hour. But I want to see you do new material, and then, hey, guess what? I worked pretty hard for this ticket price. I want to see you fucking hit me with it, baby. Yeah. Like, and I would love to do it. I would love to do a tour where Wilco did this. They go, you pick the set list. I would love to not write an hour for a year, do a whole sold out tour, not even think about it, and just rattle off a bunch of hits. I don't remember them. I don't remember anything I've done on any of my hours. I remember the machine, but when I went to Serbia and I came back and I had to do spots, I couldn't remember the machine to save my life. I was like, God damn it, how the fuck does this go? Yeah. So I'll tell you what, and this is how I feel wholeheartedly, and I love the listeners of this to podcast to chime in. If you're playing in LA at the Wiltern or the Greek or wherever you decide to play next time, I would definitely like to bring my family. I would love to bring both my girls.
If you're in town, can you please do a guest set on my show? Wiltern, March 25th.
Yeah, I actually totally can. I would love to. You're at the Wiltern March 25th. Yes. If I'm in town, I definitely will. And I want my kids and my wife to come see you. And I'll tell you right now, I definitely want to hear the nail salon bit because our best friends are Vietnamese. People think, oh, it's just a bit I saw online. No, we have connections with certain bits. Our best friends are Vietnamese. Our best friends. We're going to their house. Well, Vietnamese and Chinese, but we're going to their house Thursday for Chinese New Year because Sandy's Chinese, but everyone knows who my friends are, Tom and Sandy. And I'll bring Tom and Sandy. I'll bring them because they'll fucking die laughing because it's such a good representation of something we've experienced. And that's what makes comedy great. It is what makes comedy great. And trust me when I say you have total right to displace your energy on other comics based on the way you were treated by other comics at certain points. But God forbid, please, please, please don't ever think that's everyone. Because me, Nate, and Ari walked back at that. Do you remember meeting us backstage?
Yeah.
We walked backstage and we're like, did you think she'll know who we are? Like, she's like a fucking famous comedian. We're just like club guys.
No.
And you did not know who we were. You were like, hi, very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
But
My sister's making salsa. I swear to God. And we were like, oh, cool. And you were very nice, but we're like, God damn it. Like, it made us feel humble because we were like, I mean, we were doing Zanies that weekend and you were doing the fucking Ryman. So, yeah, I will definitely. March 25th, if I'm here, I'm fucking in.
I would love, that would be amazing. I
am out of town.
Well, your family can come.
I would love, Leanne would fucking love it. She would love
I would love to have them. That would be amazing. This nail salon joke, my relationship with it now is I have such, as we talked about practicing gratitude, I have such gratitude for the gift of this joke. And even in the day of cancel culture, when people try to label it things that it's not, to just let it fly by as for as long as I can.
Let it fly by. I mean, listen. I understand what you're saying, and we all have jokes like that you go, like, trust us, all of us have jokes like that. Some of us have done fucking 10 years of podcasting like that. But yeah, I mean, I still would enjoy to see it.
My presentation of it now is I'm at a place where this is my thank you to my audience who came to my show. So I do my new hour. Everybody loves it. We have a good time. And then at the very end of my show, I say, I know there's a joke a lot of you want to hear. And already just
so much fun.
Eruption.
By the way, look, if you, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. So there's not a lot of us that could share that. Where you go, I know there's, like, when I say when I was 22 years old, I got involved with the Russian mafia. When you hear 10,000 people go fucking nuts.
I just got chills right now. Look, I just got chills just you saying that.
You know that feeling.
Yes.
You know that feeling. And we're very, very, and if you pull anything away from this, we're very grateful to have been put in that situation. And I've always said it, even after the movie comes out, I'll still end up having to tell the fucking story because there are people that saw the movie that don't know the story and they'll want to see it. I thought after I told the special, I'd never do it. Then it went viral, and then now people want to see it in person. And
it's your encore now.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I just talked to Jimmy Buffett. Well, not just. I posted the video the other day, but I talked to him and I said, and Leanne said, my wife said, do you think he'll play Margaritaville? I was like, baby, that's why we're here. I was like, Jimmy Buffett knows why we're here, and he's going to play new songs. We're going to fucking have a blast. But trust me, he's going to play Margaritaville, and he's going to add stuff to it, and he's going to have fun with it, and we're going to fucking love it. Fins to the left, fins to the right. This is going to be what our fucking night is. I mean, I don't know. I'm real quick, pull up Anjelah's dates so we can go through her dates, and then the name of your book. Is your book out yet?
It comes out March 15th. It's available for pre-order. It's Who Do I Think I Am? Stories of Chola Wishes and Caviar Dreams.
I would love to know if I have any wannabe Chola listeners, because
let me know. Hit up your girl.
Yeah, we'll put this up there and just go, just FYI. The best lap dance I ever got in my entire life is a place called Valley Dolls, and the girl had Cholita tattooed across her stomach.
Yes.
Along with many other tattoos. But I remember thinking that's like eating the dangerous blowfish sushi.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I'm gonna try this. I may not come out alive, but I have a story. And she was amazing. I mean, that woman played by a different set of rules. I had to call the lap dance. So here we are. What day are we at today? You start on the wheel turn?
I started the wheel turn March 25th.
Holy shit.
We're about to announce more dates in March. So I go all the way to November, but those dates aren't up yet. This takes us all the way to, I think,
Los Angeles, Reno, Bakersfield, Monterey at the Golden State Theater, Napa out of the show, Turlock, California at the Turlock Community Center, Denver. Keep scrolling, Halston. Catoosa, Oklahoma. That's a Hard Rock. You're gonna have a fucking great show there. Yep. Wichita. I was just there. Omaha. I love Omaha.
If anybody is listening in Omaha, can you please buy tickets to my show? Because that's the one that like nobody's coming to right now.
Omaha. Can I just take a second telling you how much I love Omaha? Omaha is the first place I ever went where I didn't know. All I had was a preconceived notion of what I'd be going to. And when I got to Omaha, it blew my socks off to the point where I've played Omaha every year of my life. It's one of my favorite, every year since I've been touring.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places to perform. Larry, the cable guy, lives there. I've hung out with him. I love Omaha so much. I think it's because Colleen ran the club there at the Funny Bone. And I would go in. I love Omaha. It's one of my, without a doubt, one of my favorite places in this country. I have weird favorite places, but like Omaha, Philly, Cleveland. I love Cleveland. It's all places where I want to shoot specials too, because it's like Tampa. Like I love Missouri.
You're naming all the markets that I do not do well in. Besides Tampa, I crush in Tampa. But oh my God, Cleveland, Omaha, Missouri, all of those places are like, who's Anjelah?
I'm telling you. Well, they all listen to my podcast, so go out and see her. This is a good crossover because I love Omaha. It's one of my favorite comedy destinations. I used to go in and do I was one of the only places I ever did my Call in Sick to Work show was Omaha, and I hung out with Chris Porter. We smoked a joint in his bathroom, blowing it into the dryer, and I broke down why he should tell his Taco Bell joke again tomorrow night on stage. And he was like, "Wait, I don't understand." I go, "Dude, it's such a great fucking joke. Not everyone's heard it." I go, you have to tell it. Tell it for me." So he goes on stage and he's like, "Hey, I got a buddy in the room that wants to hear this joke. Here's the deal about Taco Bell." And the place went nuts. And Chris looked at me and was like, and I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, not everyone's familiar with your entire catalog."
Yeah.
You know? But Royal Oak, Michigan, I love that place. Indy, Madison, St. Louis, Austin, Midland, Lubbock, Irving, Texas. These are all going to sell out.
Oh, yeah.
They're already sold out right now. McAllen, Corpus Christi. These are at the Salina Auditorium?
Yes.
Salina!
Salina!
Oh, Salina! That was a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about Mexican people from Salina. The Jacksonville, Florida at the Florida Theater. Hard Rock in Orlando. Pensacola. New York, the Joy Theater is a great fucking theater in New Orleans.
I've never been.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. You're going to have a great tour. But the book is Who Do You Think I Am?
Who do I think I am?
I'm dyslexic.
Who do I think I am?
Who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? That's a great picture, by the way.
Thank you.
Stories
of Chola Wishes and Caviar Dreams.
I won't be reading your book, but I'll be listening to it on tape.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
A real genuine pleasure. I think the world of you. Obviously, you know that, and so thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. This was great.